You can now save your favorite stations on the app, just like in your car. And with the all-new live radio dial, it's easier than ever to discover new stations you'll love based on your location or favorite genre. Find out what everyone's talking about and get the new and improved free iHeartRadio app today.
iHeartRadio.
From the Ingalls Studios, this is ESPN Asheville, WPEK, W225CJ Fairview, WMXF Waynesville, and iHeart Radio Station.
Live from the Ingalls Studio.
I can't wait to play with myself every day.
The Sportsocracy.
Damn the devil to hell! Let the big dogs eat! Let them on the field!
Come get you some of this.
Fire them cannons! By golly, put more powder in those things.
He couldn't take any more disappointment.
Oh, my God. The Jets killed him.
And welcome into the Sportsocracy on ESPN Asheville 92.9 FM, 880 AM, 1400. The Sportsocracy heard everywhere you go around the iHeartRadio app. We are seen everywhere on YouTube. You're throwing me off with the little dance there.
I'm
Jeremy's
all hyped
so
up because it's mock draft day. I am hyped up on Dayquil instead of NyQuil. We're on the backside of the sickness. I can talk again.
Yes.
And it's time to talk about my favorite thing in the world, the draft.
Indeed. It is one of the kickoffs of the Draftmas season, the first Flowstradamus mock draft. 2025 NFL Draft coming up in April in Green Bay, Wisconsin.
And we will be there, second year in a row, live on Radio Row. I actually just discovered we have a Buddy's Pizza from Detroit that's in our freezer here at iHeart. I think we need to eat that today.
That's a good call.
As a ceremonial, you know what, Detroit, you were awesome. But now you have to kiss the draft away to Green Bay. Yes. And today is that day.
Okay, maybe we can make that happen over the next 3 hours. It is a mock draft Wednesday.
We also are doing something new on the YouTube that we've never done before. So in the new year, YouTube decided you should be able to set goals for Super Chats and things like that. I didn't know that. I clicked a button while we were at the Peach Bowl. I didn't know what it did, but now I know. Today, I am going to be making a bit of a selfish announcement. And it is, before we go down any rabbit holes, Tank will be involved. Tank is a busy guy. Mm-hmm. When the new year started, they just took a bunch of things and went, there you go. That's your problem now. There you go. So I do not have the responsibilities here that he does, and I have a pet project. So, last year was not – it was the most rewarding professional year of my life. It was also the toughest personal year of my life with the flood and all the other things that happened. I need a passion project, and now I have one, and it has something to do with you guys. So we've set a goal for a certain amount of Super Chats. Once those are activated, we will be giving away a membership to our new venture that I will announce after the 16th pick of the mock draft.
All right, it is a mock draft Wednesday. We welcome everybody. And, of course, the chat will be running, so you can get your thoughts in on all of the picks. Jeremy has already made the prediction that he's going to make at least one fan base set something on fire with his pick. So stay tuned for that.
It's not that they're going to set something on fire. They're just going to see it and go, but why are we doing that for? We have our first two Super Chats of the day.
That we do.
Here comes the money.
Here we go. Money talk.
Here comes the money.
Red Sea just simply said, Mock Draft Wednesday. It is Mock Draft Wednesday, and I'm very excited.
Here comes the money.
Here we go. Money talk.
Here comes the money. Money, money, money.
Soaring Eagle, one of our great Super Chatters of the 2024 season, and I'm sure of the 2025 season, said day one pick for the Denver Broncos, either Colston Loveland, Tyler Warren, or Harold Fannin Jr., or we falafeled up. Well, let me put it to you this way, Denver Bronco fan. You didn't falafel up. I'm not going to tell you any more than that. You'll have to wait until pick 20. Mm-hmm. But I will give you a multiple choice scenario of one of those three fellers does head to the Denver Broncos.
All right, let's get into it. We got 32 picks. We got 32 teams to talk about, so time is of the essence. The number one pick in the 2025 NFL Draft belongs to
the Tennessee Titans. Cam Ward, quarterback out of Miami.
All right, so why would this not be Shedeur Sanders?
I don't think you're going to have that choice. You'll also see when we make pick 2 that I don't necessarily think that the team that has the second pick is going to have a lot of say in that either. But I'm not going to lie to you. I don't think Tennessee would take Cam Ward, or I don't think Tennessee would take Shedeur Sanders, even if it wasn't for that. I think they're in love with Cam Ward. I can't tell you I'm super close to that team, but I know people that are.
Mm-hmm.
I have yet to hear a person tell me that if Tennessee has the number one pick, they won't take Cam Ward because apparently they're just in love with him and the way he would fit into Tennessee. And you look at what they have and where so for this exercise, Tank is the cap guru. He's figured out draft capital, free agency dollars, all of those things. Tennessee is basically in a hard reset, but it's a hard reset that's not as far back as an average number one overall pick team would usually be.
Mm-hmm. I mean, you're starting all over because this is probably the best moment to ever hit the reset button, right? We're bringing in a new GM, fired Rand Carthon. We have a head coach that we just hired, but we have the 9th most money coming up in free agency. We have the 4th most draft capital, including the number one overall pick. I didn't hate the firing of Rand Carthon just because if you're going to reset, this is the moment to do it.
I did hate it, but I also look at Tennessee, and you don't have a lot of guys that are coming up. Sebastian Joseph Day, he's a free agent. Tyler Boyd, Nick Westbrook-Akina, who I think they will find a way to get it done with.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, it's not a lot of guys that I feel like you should be burning the bridges to get back into Tennessee. So it's really blank slate. The biggest problem I see in Tennessee, your offensive line's not very good. But I do think they have pieces. So just take the journey with me. If you found a way to get a left tackle and you move J.C. Latham away from left tackle, which is not where he belongs, and he never did, and he showed it this year, I don't think you're that bad off. It wasn't good this year. You had a quarterback that holds on to the ball way too long. And I think Cam Ward can help some of those things. To me, he's the only first-round graded quarterback in this class. It's Cam Ward, end of message, repeat the line.
Okay.
I do not have a first-round grade on the other quarterback that you're getting ready to ask me about.
Mm-hmm. It's Shedeur.
He's a 2. He's going to go markedly higher than that.
Oh, absolutely. Okay. All right. Cam Ward, the pick at number 1 for the Tennessee Titans. At number 2, it's...
Well, that's not quite
dear.
Who you think.
Oh, we got it. We got our first trade.
We have our only trade. I don't like doing trades in this scenario. All right. I don't think Cleveland is just a quarterback away. That's A. I know Diana Rossini reported yesterday that they're going to take a quarterback. They're locked in. I don't buy that. I also don't buy that. I don't buy that you are far enough down the rabbit hole to say that. I really don't.
Mm-hmm.
I also have one great big caveat with Shedeur Sanders. He said 1,000 times he doesn't want to play in a small market. His dad's going to have an influence in this, and Cleveland is cold. It's not a big market. It's not a fun place to play. And outside of Lamar Jackson, you haven't had a whole lot of really marketable quarterbacks. I think he forces his way out of here.
Okay, so the question is, who forces their way up to number 2?
Hit your button.
Uh-huh.
The Las Vegas Raiders. I get it. They fired Deion's buddy, Antonio Pierce.
Yeah.
But for why did they do that? There are only two potential landing spots to me. It's either the Giants or the Raiders. If I'm Cleveland, I would rather fall back to 6 if all things are equal, and I think for Shedeur they are.
Okay.
I don't think there's a huge difference between Travis Hunter and Mason Graham, or Travis Hunter and Abdul Carter, or whichever guy it is that you're going to take. So I would rather go back further. I have the Raiders trading up to number 2, and at number 2, Shedeur Sanders, quarterback out of Colorado.
Mm-hmm. So they will overdraft him by a round, and who's shocked that the Raiders would do such a thing?
This quarterback class is absolutely terrible. And when I say terrible, I mean terrible. There's one team in this class that gets a shot at a big-time quarterback. Shedeur has all the talent. He's just so much more raw than you want to think he is. And then you really boil it down to, well, who did you ever actually see him play? He played in the Pac-12, which plays absolutely no defense, for a year. Then he played in the Big 12 for a year that plays absolutely no defense. Oh, but he played in a bowl game. Awesome. They played against a Big 12 team in the bowl game. I've seen nothing from him that makes me think he's going to be a day one franchise quarterback. He's got a lot of talent. He just does a lot of really stupid things. The turn your back to the offensive line, I see guys do that and immediately drop them around. Immediately. Because you're going to get yourself killed doing that at some point. And he does it probably more than any quarterback I've ever seen. He's also shockingly athletic with no desire to use it whatsoever. If you didn't like Bryce Young, I don't know how you like Shedeur Sanders. I really don't, because most of the drawbacks with Bryce, I have the same drawbacks with Shedeur.
Mm-hmm.
Shedeur's a little bigger, but he's as averse to running as Bryce was. He won't do it. And to me, in a perfect world, he would go in the back half of the first round. It's not a perfect world, and it's not going to happen that way.
Yep. Quarterbacks always sought after in the draft, and this feels like one that we're shoehorning into this spot. But I don't know. I mean, I don't know that the "I'm not going to play for you" thing is going to go as far as some do. I mean,
Zach Sawyer asked, who is the historical comp on Shedeur Sanders? I did not anticipate somebody asking that.
I'm excited for this.
Achilles Smith. Achilles Smith had talent.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is he was a system quarterback, and you tried to make him something he wasn't. I see a lot of similarities between the two. I would say Shedeur's probably more athletic and has a livelier arm, but the mechanics are not great. He's super inaccurate at times. And he does that thing that I rail on quarterbacks for doing. He makes the impossible seem possible, and he makes the mundane seem impossible at times.
I don't see the Raiders drafting Shedeur Sanders if they just don't go out and get his dad to coach. Because that seems like the most Raidery thing that could happen.
Yeah, that was CBS Sports had a bold predictions for 2025, and that was their first one, was that they go get Shedeur and Dion.
Yes.
I struggle to see that. But I will tell you this. You've already had the Chicago Bears say that they're going to have candidates that would surprise you. Well, the Raiders were the last one to fire their coach. I think that's the last job that comes open, by the way. Nobody asked that. That happened after our show ended yesterday. I do think the Raiders' job is the last one to come open.
Mm-hmm.
So yesterday I said don't just in your own mind pencil in that Mike Vrabel's going to end up in New England.
New England, yes.
The reason that I said that was because I have it on good authority that if all things are equal, he would rather have the Raiders' job than the Patriots' job.
Oh, of course. Because Tommy's the owner now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Well, I mean, also think about your life. I can live in Boston with Bill Burr yelling at me about everything I think. Or I could be in Vegas with showgirls. Which one sounds more fun to you? Because it's Vegas to me by a lot.
Yeah, Vegas would be more fun. I just feel like I'd have a better chance at winning something in Boston.
What has, outside of the Tom Brady era, what has Bob Kraft ever won?
Well, I mean,
he went to a Super Bowl.
Much of it, right? There were.
He bought that team in 1992. So he had it for almost 10 years before. He's had it for 5 years.
And he went
since,
to a Super Bowl in that stretch.
And lost. Okay. Whoop-de-doo. He went to a Super Bowl. Awesome.
I mean, that's a big deal.
You're not wrong. Look at the record in the other years.
Oh, sure.
There's been a lot more 5-11, 7-10 than that one. The Super Bowl's the outlier.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't necessarily think the Patriot way is the pull on the heartstrings that you think it is.
Yep.
Did you notice that Mike Vrabel didn't do anything in Tennessee really the Patriot way? The offense didn't look that way. Yeah, they ran.
Mm-hmm.
They played pretty good defense.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't look like Bill. And there's a reason for that.
Okay. All right. You're in the Sportsocracy, and this is ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400. Take a quick break. When we return, we'll continue with the first of the first-round mock drafts from Flowstradamus for 2025.
This is the story of the one who, as a maintenance specialist for a historic high-rise, knows that vintage charm historically needs constant attention. Which is why, when it's time to upgrade turn-of-the-century mechanicals, they turn to Grainger. With easy access to 1 million-plus products and the scale to deliver when and where you need them, the right tools and supplies are never far away. So the one can keep that vintage building running like new. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Playoffs? We're talking about playoffs? You bet we are. Kevin Hart here for DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL playoffs. Scoring touchdowns is key to winning in the playoffs, and you can score big by betting on them at DraftKings, the #1 place to bet touchdowns. Ready to place your first bet? Try betting on something simple like a player to score 6. Go to DraftKings Sportsbook app and make your pick. New DraftKings customers can bet $5 to get $200 in bonus bets instantly.
Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code WPEK. That's code WPEK for new customers to get $200 in bonus bets instantly when you bet just $5.
Only on DraftKings Sportsbook. The crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov. 21 plus, North Carolina only. Eligibility restrictions apply. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/audio.
As we recover as a community, it's important to help each other. Hummingbird Insurance, as always, is offering free assistance to help you navigate your health insurance options for this year. Headquartered in Asheville, Hummingbird is one of the top-rated insurance agencies in the country. Schedule a free consultation to compare plans across multiple insurance carriers. The enrollment deadline is January 15th. We make it easier than hauling water. Visit healthcaresucks.com. That's healthcaresucks.com.
If you're looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate in the mountains, you need to call the agents at Clarissa Sells WNC, brokered by eXp Realty. Check us out online at clarissasellswnc.com. Download our free app on Google Play or the App Store. Type in Asheville Home Search. You'll be able to connect with our team and see all the available homes for sale in our area. For more information, contact us today at 828-774-6343 or clarissasellswnc@gmail.com.
Welcome to the Ingalls Table, a delicious destination with recipes galore. Need to whip up a dessert, entree, side dish? No problem. The experts from the Ingalls Table take you through it step by step with expert tips and advice along the way. Find the Ingalls Table at ingalls-markets.com or swing by the store and pick up your free copy of the Ingalls Table magazine. And let's get cooking. Ingalls, low prices, love the savings.
This is J.W. Whitley with Parks Ford of Hendersonville. I'm so excited to introduce you to this month's Parks Community Hero, Meals on Wheels. Meals on Wheels, with the help of numerous volunteers, delivers nutritious meals and friendly conversation to homebound seniors. Throughout their meal delivery program, you can help seniors keep their independence. To get involved, visit MOWABC.com. Thank you to Meals on Wheels and congratulations, our Parks Community Hero. Experience the Parks Promise today at parksfordhendersonville.com.
The Sportsocracy.
We treat star athletes better because they're better people.
That's not fair.
Fair, kiddo. Get used to it.
We are back at the Sportsocracy on ESPN. Ashley, it can't come crashing down that soon.
Well, Tom Pelissero with a report that Bill Belichick has heard from Tom Brady to gauge his interest in being the next head coach of the Las Vegas Raiders.
No.
All right.
He has a job.
I get it. We're Carolina guys. We're Carolina affiliates. There would be a part of me that low down would go, that's the most Carolina thing I've ever seen in my life. They hired Bill Belichick and he left for the Raiders before he ever coached the game. That would be absolutely awful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Anyhow, let's get back to the first mock draft of the Draftmas season. The NFL regular season has come to a close, so we know the draft order at the top. And picking at number 3 is
the New York Football Giants.
And what do they need?
This is actually one of my favorite picks of the draft.
Mm-hmm.
Travis Hunter, cornerback, wide receiver. He does a lot of stuff from Colorado.
So we're throwing the Giants into the maybe you can get Kirk Cousins to come play for you group.
Well, what else are you going to do? All right, the only two quarterbacks that anybody with an IQ above salad dressing would take it. If you take Jalen Milroe in the first round, you can tell me Bill Belichick did it. I would walk to his house, knock on his door, and go, "You, my friend, are a moron." There's no quarterback here. I think the Giants will be very in on J.J. McCarthy. I just don't know that they're going to be willing to see this pick for J.J. McCarthy. This turns into the what was the old cartoon character? I'll gladly give you $5 tomorrow for a cheeseburger today.
Yes.
Yeah, I'll give you next year's first rounder, but you're going to have to give me Goldilocks here now.
Mm-hmm.
Because, look, Minnesota's going with Sam Darnold. I don't care how bad Sunday win against the Lions. Sam Darnold's the starting quarterback of the Vikings.
Yes.
The Giants have a lot of decisions to make. They also have a great big problem of, outside of Malik Neighbors, who's the second biggest star on this team? Is it your 330-pound defensive tackle? Oh, yeah, because those sell amazingly in New York City. Oh, by the way, he's not even the best defensive tackle that plays in your stadium.
Mm-hmm.
That guy plays for the Jets.
Right.
Kayvon Thibodeau, who you tell me how great he is, and I see it at times. Brian Burns, you need a corner. And, look, Travis Hunter is an elite, I think an elite Sauce Gardner-level corner. Then you add in the fact he also wants to play wide receiver. The Giants already have Malik Neighbors.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Giants are the perfect fit for him.
Okay.
Because he can come in and play 20 offensive snaps a game. You've still got pieces at corner because they have drafted other guys. Deontay Banks, Cordell Flott, who still somehow 2 years in the league is yet to have the buffet of cheeseburgers that I said he needed 2 years ago. You still got pieces, so you don't necessarily have to play Travis Hunter on every play. Don't play him defensively every defensive snap. In obvious running downs, take him off the field.
Mm-hmm.
Can you get burned in that? Sure. But then you add in, you've got the most dynamic two-way player that we've ever seen. Yes, more than Charles Woodson. Yes, more than Deion Sanders. Because he's a better receiver than those two were. That fills two holes for the Giants at one time. Then you go get the quarterback, and I don't care if it's Kirk Cousins. I don't care if it's J.J. McCarthy. Frankly, they were super interested in Russell Wilson last year. I wouldn't care if it was Russell Wilson. You're doing it for a year no matter what it is, unless it's McCarthy, and McCarthy's a very large draft capital outlay. And I'm not doing that on January 8th.
Mm-hmm. If there was a prop bet that you could get that Shedeur Sanders and Travis Hunter go back-to-back in the draft,
I would.
Could you?
I would give.
Could you get some odds on that?
Well, let's see.
I've
already had a vasectomy, so probably the most valuable thing I have would not be worth much. I'd give both of them.
Yeah,
both. You get both of them.
We got all the boys on the table.
I don't see any way that doesn't happen.
Yes. The fourth pick in the 2025 NFL Draft belongs to
the New England Patriots. Sorry, I got distracted. Got a lot of stuff happening on this screen right now. This one might be a little surprising to people. I don't think it's going to be surprising once we get into it.
Okay.
Kelvin Banks Jr., offensive tackle from Texas. I hear how good this line class is. Unfortunately, I don't really see it.
Okay.
I really like Will Campbell.
Mm-hmm.
I really like a couple of other guys. In terms of no doubt left tackle, I don't see a ton of them. And Kelvin Banks is the one. I considered Teteroa McMillan. But then I looked at the rest of this class, and I looked at the rest of the capital for New England. With my further picks, I can add another receiver, and I'm not going to lie to you. I don't think Jalen Polk is better than what I saw this year.
Mm-hmm.
Kayshon Boutte showed that, he can play.
Agreed.
Your offensive line, if you released all 5 of those guys right now, I'm not sure 3 of them would make a roster, let alone start anywhere. You got to start somewhere. And Kelvin Banks is a good start.
And he would make a great addition. Obviously, he would be a cornerstone for the future of the offensive line there. And they have $133 million in cap space.
That's another thing. If I'm New England, T. Higgins is going to have to tell me no.
Absolutely. I'm giving him whatever it takes. I give Drake May the 1 with T. Higgins, and then that moves Polk to the 2. Right, you got
Polk
Boutte.
Would be the 3. Boutte would probably be the 2.
Okay, either way.
You still got Pop Douglas in there. Look, you've got a lot of guys. Mm-hmm. The only problem is that New England's receiving core right now looks a lot like my dating record before I met my wife. Whole mess of threes.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And that'd be a big swing to take for the New England Patriots with the 4th pick.
Look, this was your Outland Trophy winner. He's been an absolute stalwart for Texas. And he's a big dancing bear. He's the guy that I think goes into the combine process and then the scouts get involved and go, no dude that size is supposed to move like that.
Right.
That's not of this world, and I want him. I want him to play for our team right now.
All right, at number 5 in the draft.
The Jacksonville Jaguars. Mason Graham, defensive tackle, Michigan. I don't know that I have ever liked a defensive tackle prospect as much as I like this one.
That's saying a lot.
I want him to be. Look, I don't hide this. I'm a Jets fan, and I want him real bad. I haven't wanted anything this bad since I wanted the Spice Girls to come to my 9th birthday party. Okay, I love this kid, and I think he's an immediate disruptor. I think you can play him up and down the line because he's freakishly athletic. He's very large. The only knock that I've ever heard on him is there's been so much talent around him that he was kind of allowed to be the star.
Mm-hmm.
And how would he work outside of that? Look, he had Kenny Grant on the inside of him this year, of which we're going to get to that name pretty soon. I get that, but then you watch him in one-on-ones, and I've never actually seen anybody be able to handle him. You put him in Jacksonville, you've already got Josh Hines Allen, you've already got Devin Lloyd, you've already got Trayvon Walker, you've got guys that can stand up and sometimes have their hand in the dirt. This is the guy that in the middle just dirties it up, and a really good run stopper.
Mm-hmm.
Probably the best combination of run defender and pass rusher that I've seen out of an interior defensive lineman since Quinnen Williams. Now I will be honest about this. The difference was Quinnen Williams was super young and still super raw and still getting better. Mason Graham may be tapped. I don't care. because I'm not sure he's not going to come into as a first-year rookie. You could tell me he made the Pro Bowl, and I wouldn't be shocked.
Mm-hmm.
Jacksonville screwed this up one time before because they got cute, and they took the raw upside prospect instead of Aiden Hutchinson when they took Trayvon Walker. They will not make that mistake again. Now, I do see the irony that they're taking a Michigan defender that is the safe, pretty much no-doubt star over a couple Georgia guys that are higher upside. Yes, I do see the irony in that.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny how the draft is just like a big it's names change, stories stay the same.
You're in the Sportsocracy, and this is ESPN Asheville 92.9 FM, 880 AM at 1400. Pick number 6 in the first mock draft of the 2025 Draftmas season. Up next.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Adjacent counties, winter storm watches. I'd imagine we'll get into some of that in the coming hours as we go through this afternoon. Continue to see sunshine and some clouds around. Chilly day today with a gusty breeze at times. Barely above freezing. Low to mid-teens tonight, near freezing tomorrow. Then we'll get snow later Friday into Friday night. Accumulating snowfall, maybe 3 to 6 inches. From the Weather Channel, meteorologist Ray Stajic.
This report is sponsored by Rapid Radios.
Rapid Radios are instant push-to-talk walkie-talkies offering national LTE coverage and no subscription ever. Perfect for instant contact with an aging parent. For a limited time, go to rapidradios.com and you'll get an extra 60% off, free UPS shipping, and add code RADIO for an extra 5% off.
After 30 years of doing knee and hip replacements, Dr. Mitchell Shinecup thought there had to be a better way, and that led him to regenerative medicine.
I was one of the first orthopedic surgeons to do it.
Now, after 20 years of successful orthobiologic treatments, lots of clinical data, research, and teaching, Dr. Shinecup is National Medical Director at QC Kinetics.
They've done an amazing job of becoming the most significant orthobiologic and regenerative medicine practice in the United States. QC is so far ahead of the game in its science, its protocols, its people, its facilities.
So if you have chronic pain from arthritis and you want to avoid drugs and surgery, call the experts in this revolutionary field, QC Kinetics.
To give patients real lasting relief from pain, that's what I live for. That's my mission.
Get your free consultation now. Call QC Kinetics.
Call QC Kinetics, 828-333-9517. That's 828-333-9517. 828-333-9517.
Score deep discounts and deeper sleep during Mattress Firm's semi-annual sale and clearance. Take up to 60% off select mattresses and more. Plus, get a free adjustable base on qualifying purchases. Shop today for free and fast delivery. Restrictions apply.
Mountain Graphics and Showtime Sports have teamed up under a new local owner to serve our community with the finest custom apparel and unique branded items at the best price. Mountain Graphics and Showtime Sports can customize whatever you, your team, or your local group may need with high-quality screen printing, embroidery, and laser engraving. Visit mtngraphicsavl.com or showtimesportsavl.com. That's mtngraphicsavl.com or showtimesportsavl.com for your local one-stop custom apparel shops.
It's time to discover the convenience and time savings of contact-free pickup with Ingles Curbside. Just visit shop.ingles-markets.com or download the app. And your Ingles personal shopper gets to work with specialized training on how to select the freshest items for a pre-scheduled pickup. They'll even text you with updates. You pull up to a designated space and your personal shopper delivers your items right to your vehicle. Fresh, fast, and affordable. It's all in the bag. Ingles, low prices, love the savings.
When you get tired of freezing your can at the tailgate, maybe it's time to ring in a new season. Tailgating season. Wherever you are, whatever the forecast, with good old ale, it's the perfect way to kick off game day. From Red Cup Revelry to just kicking it solo, you can't go wrong with Dale's Pale Ale, Dale's Light Lager, and Dale's Easy IPA. Honest ingredients, no BS. Drink responsibly, and we'll see you at the Tailgate.
The Sportsocracy.
What are you people? On dope?
Welcome back into the Sportsocracy on ESPN Asheville. It is
Mock Draft Wednesday.
Yes.
And look, we get it. There's playoff games. We know every show in America is inundating you with their takes on playoff games. All right, we got it. We don't really do interviews, So you're going to hear plenty of our takes on the college football playoff games, which will be tomorrow, the NFL playoff games, which will be Friday. We do a lot of draft stuff around here, okay? It's what we do. We're draftmen. And I have resisted the urge to do a mock draft forever. I had to get all the things in place to make my announcement after the 16th pick. So like I said, it's my day, okay?
Here comes the money.
Here we go. Money talk.
Here comes the money.
All right, super chat from Red Sea who says Draftmas season is the best season.
Draftmas season is the best season. It's Christmas ends, and about the time that you look at the tree and go, we should take that down. No, you shouldn't. Decorate it with the logos of your favorite team and call it your Draftmas tree because all the gifts will be under it so soon.
Nice. Have y'all taken down your Christmas tree?
Hell no.
Okay.
If my tree's not up at my birthday, one of the better years we've had.
That's in March for those of you who are
yeah,
not
my
keeping
birthday's
score.
the day before St. Patrick's Day because God knew what he was doing. Let's give him a reason for a 4-day bender. That'll be good.
Yes, indeed.
Cowboy Zach Hurst is the day before mine, too. So, not only do we have mine and the drunken holiday of my Irish heritage, one of my best friend's birthday is the day before mine.
Mm-hmm. It's reason to celebrate.
We have a couple questions that I want to hit on before we.
Okay.
Evan Doyle asked, would you agree this is a shallow tackle class but a deep guard class? Yes, I would. I actually think this is a deep class, period. You just don't have the elite, no doubt, franchise left tackle. If you told me somebody in this class became Jonathan Ogden, it's Kelvin Banks.
Okay.
I see another guy that we will talk about probably in this segment. I rate him very highly. I've been burned by this kind of prospect before, and I think that I'm starting to see how the league views these guys and why this keeps happening.
Okay. All right. Do you have another question that we need to get to before we get to pick number 6?
Gambit fan asked if I wanted to do karate in the garage with Mason Graham. If he wanted to, I'm down. Or we could go get ice cream cones, or we could go to a Creed concert together. Mason Graham and I could be besties, and I don't doubt that at all. Okay. And it would be magic. I just would never want to make him angry because he's kind of like the Hulk. You won't like him when he's angry. Unless he plays for your team, in which case you'll love him.
The number 6 pick in the 2025 NFL Draft belongs to the Las Vegas Raiders, however.
But they made a move up to get Shedeur Sanders, which left the Browns to sit here and do something that I like a lot.
So the pick belongs to?
The Cleveland Browns.
It's got to do it for everybody.
Abdul Carter. Edge rusher, Penn State.
Oh, good, yeah. Right on the other side of Myles Garrett.
You want to make that defense you want to make that defense great again? Not. See what I did there? You know what I did.
We heard you.
I know you know what I did.
Go by Greenland.
Yeah, Panama Canal. That's ours now.
Mine now.
You want to make that defense great again? Abdul Carter's a good way to do it because you put him on the opposite side of Myles Garrett. And already the pieces you have in the secondary, there are two teams that just so happen to pick back-to-back in this. Your path to righteousness is that defense getting back to where it's supposed to be, not you trying to be some offensive juggernaut. And that's kind of how I view Cleveland. I think you have a lot of good pieces. I love Myles Garrett. I love JOK. I love Denzel Ward. I think Greg Newsome had a terrible year, but I still think he's really talented. You need another edge rusher. You need somebody that can keep pressure off of Myles Garrett. That guy does that. Abdul Carter is one of the weirder prospects I've ever seen. I don't know how much of his story you know. He was an off-ball linebacker. And he went to James Franklin and said, nope, not anymore. You put my hand in the dirt and watch what I can do. And he did, and he was one of the best players in the country. Mm-hmm. And now Penn State's in the semifinals of the college football playoff, and Abdul Carter's a big reason why. I'm not going to say he has Micah Parsons' upside because that's lazy. They both played at Penn State. They both kind of have similar trajectories. They're similar players. I mean, in terms of what they can do, they're similar freak athletes, They can be moved around. They're very modern NFL players. I love Abdul Carter.
Which could be a nightmare and an all-time matchup or an all-time pairing if you have Myles Garrett on the other side of that guy.
Yeah, you want to get him to stop talking about, hey, maybe I want to trade. That's a good way to get him to shut up about that.
Question is, would they give him the power to just change the name of Lake Erie to Lake Cleveland? That's power.
I feel like that was a political joke that I didn't understand.
It was. Gulf of Mexico?
Oh, yeah.
You didn't hear that?
I did.
For those who may not know, our incoming president yesterday said, that's the Gulf of America now? It's ours. Not sure why Mexico got top billing anyway, but I didn't know a president could just go, you know what? We've been calling it that forever. It's now ours.
It's ours now. That's what we do.
All right, at number 7 in the 2025 NFL Draft, the
New York Football Jets. This pick will be a little strange to some people, but I don't think it should be.
Mm-hmm.
Will Johnson, cornerback out of Michigan. Ask the question. I know you want to.
But don't you already have corners?
DJ Reed's a free agent.
Ah.
DJ Reed's probably not going to fit into the scheme of whoever they hire, which I think is becoming more and more and more and more possible that person is Rex Ryan. You give me Will Johnson and Sauce Gardner. I now have two guys that I can man up, line up against absolutely anybody.
Mm-hmm.
And that front seven's already pretty good. I wanted Mason Graham. I'm not hiding that. But that's a pretty good consolation prize. If Travis Hunter wasn't in this draft class, Will Johnson probably goes in the top 4. He's that good.
Mm-hmm.
That's how good the top of this class is. You get to about 8, and you're still hitting possible franchise elite players. And I think Will Johnson's one of them. I have a very high grade on him. I actually think he's a better corner than Travis Hunter. He just doesn't play wide receiver 2 and win the Biletnikoff. Every time I talk about Travis Hunter, it feels like a stupid storyline from Madden. You remember when Madden got cute and they developed storylines for all the players? It's like, this guy won the Heisman both ways. He won it as a corner one year, then won it as a receiver the next year. That's stupid. That would never. Oh wait, that happened.
Oh wait,
not quite, but you were close.
But you got real close.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, to me, Will Johnson, Ahmad Sauce Gardner. The Jets have to make that defense really, really good. I think Tyrod Taylor is probably going to be the quarterback of that team next year.
Okay.
And you lean on the running game. The line is talented. I watched every single Jet snap. I get it. Well, you could add an offensive lineman. You could, but you already have 5 that you're invested in. Olaf Fashanu will be fine. Elijah Vera Tucker will be fine. The problem was that every team that played the Jets knew that Aaron Rodgers probably runs a 7-flat 40 now. He cannot run. And so they just bulldog blitzed. And you add that into Keith Carter and the joke of an offensive line scheme they had, it was dead on arrival.
Mm-hmm.
The next coach, I believe, will be fine depending on who it is. Please, God, not Matt Nagy. If it's Matt Nagy, I swear to you, outside of the one I have on, I will burn everything Jet-related I have.
You still need to have one.
I love this city. I love this city.
Okay. It's a nice one.
It's the salute to service. I love this city.
Snow camo. I like that. You can wear that out when you go sledding this weekend.
I will not be going sledding. No. Snow is stupid. Snow is the stupidest thing. Like, why do we snow? I mean, I get it. Like, the sky does it, but it's a dumb thing we do. Okay? Get Elon Musk on no more snow or snow when we want it.
Mm-hmm.
I know Elon's got the technology for that. Like, put something up in the sky and it just snow. On Christmas.
Easy there, conspiracy theorists. You can get into
sure.
Cloud seeding and all that next.
Hey, look. None of you want to agree on chemtrails. I know Elon Musk has got the ability.
At number 8 in the upcoming NFL draft, that is where?
The Carolina Panthers.
That's right. The Carolina Panthers have that pick.
Tinaroa McMillan, wide receiver, Arizona.
Okay, well now we're talking. We got Bryce Young on the the trajectory here. You couldn't have asked for a better end to the season when he had a 5-touchdown game against the Atlanta Falcons.
And I trust me, I know what's coming. We need to address the defense. I agree with you. The problem is all the elite franchise defensive players, they're gone. It would be a reach at this point to not take Tinaroa McMillan. So you give Bryce Young a legit 1. Yes. Now Xavier Legette becomes your 2. Jalen Coker becomes your 3. Adam Thielen, if he hangs around, you can pepper him in, but he's getting older. Adam Thielen and I are the same age. I threw my back out getting out of the truck the other day. And I get it. He's in better shape than me. I'm not disputing that. I'm just saying age catches up to everybody.
No doubt. And
you need a number 1.
And how much time has Adam Thielen missed in the last 2 years? It's been a lot.
It's been a good bit.
Right. So you don't want that, and you want to be able to give Bryce the weapons. Okay.
I absolutely hate lazy comps. This one's not a lazy comp. It's just accurate. You want to know what Tinaroa McMillan is? Drake London if he was faster. He's a 6'5" receiver that's probably a full 1/10 of a second, if not more, faster in the 40 and much more sudden than Drake London. And he's got the same big catch radius, really good hands. He's a freak of nature. You add that to what Carolina already has, the offense will be really good, and then you can just pepper the rest of the draft with defensive players, use your free agency dollars on defensive players. I am not a huge fan. I would love to have Mason Graham with the Panthers as well.
Yep.
I'm not a huge fan of, hey, let's go draft 7 rookies and plan on them all playing roles on a defense. I want to have 4.
But I don't have a pass rusher.
I
need one. And there's Nick Scourton and James Pierce and all of these guys that come off the edge. Why would the Panthers not do that?
If you take one of those edge rushers over Tinaroa McMillan, you'll regret it for the next 10 years.
Fair enough.
You do not bypass a franchise player because you have a need. And there are a lot of pass rushers in this class. What you can get in the second round will be better in terms of sum of all parts because you did get what I think is an elite franchise player. I love Tinaroa McMillan even more than I loved Drake London the year he came out.
Wow, that's a lot.
Well, I mean, I had Drake London as my number 6 player in that class.
Mm-hmm.
I like McMillan better.
All right, and with the 9th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft.
That is the New Orleans Saints with our first Senior Bowl combatant.
Combatant. They're going to war now. Okay. Participant, maybe?
Don't thesaurus me, you jackal. Nick Scourton, edge rusher out of Texas A&M.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
Skirt.
I get that somebody's going to ask the question, well, why was it okay for the Saints, but it wasn't okay for the Panthers? A, you have Cam Jordan in New Orleans. Carolina doesn't. I believe Nick Scourton's path in the NFL, I want him to be Cam Jordan. Why would I not put him on the opposite side of that guy and just everything you could possibly teach him?
Mm-hmm.
There are 2 different guys in this class. They're both edge rushers. They're big enough to play on the inside. They're fleet of foot enough to play on the outside, and they're really hard to judge. The thing about Scourton is the tape just jumps off to me. I think probably his best fit is playing 3-4 defensive end, but that's not happening. He's not going to fall far enough to a team that would want to use him there exclusively. He's going to end up playing on the outside. And so I look at a team in New Orleans that's had pretty good history of doing that with guys. Where New Orleans got in trouble is when they started trying to go the Marcus Davenport route of, hey, let's go get a thin guy that's really fast off the edge. We have a few of those, and most of them are coming off within the next 10 picks. And I know it's a different regime. I think Aaron Glenn's going to be the next head coach of the Saints. Okay. That's where I think this is headed.
All right.
And this gives me a very multiple piece that I can use in 3- and 4-man fronts, something that Aaron Glenn does.
Yep. He better do more with less because that's a team that continues to be mired in salary cap hell.
One more year.
And they're going into this one $78 million in the hole.
Yeah, the Saints are – it's almost like, if you get on the wrong side of the federal government and they keep leaning tax levies against you, how am I ever supposed to get out of this? Man, I've been paying you 70% of my salary for 19 years. Do you know how much top ramen that is? It's a lot. They got one more year, and then they're not clear of it, but it's getting better.
All right, let's get number 10 in. The Chicago Bears have the number 10 pick.
Chicago's such an interesting team to me because I think that team's so good, 2-53, and they're so bad at quarterback.
Yeah. So let's see. The pick is, what's the team?
The Chicago Bears.
I screwed that up. I apologize. Let's see who they pick.
Will Campbell, offensive lineman, LSU. If you've been watching our draft coverage for long enough, you know when I say offensive lineman, it means that depends on what team you go to. I think he can play tackle. Some people don't. Some people think he is specifically a guard.
Mm-hmm.
I listed him as a guard. I'm not sure in Chicago that he wouldn't be a left tackle. Now, I have a theory that I've developed over countless years of doing this. I call this the Dan Moore theory. Dan Moore's played left tackle for the Pittsburgh Steelers for no less than 4 years. We had the chance to have Dan Moore on our draft coverage that year. I didn't do it because I thought he was a guard. No one will ever know that name ever. I have regretted that ever since because depending on the offensive line coach is, there's going to be a team that views him as a left tackle. I think the Bears are that team. I considered the Saints, but I think they would use him at guard. Will Campbell's probably the most talented player in this class, not named Mason Graham or Travis Hunter.
Wow.
I would say he's probably the most talented player. Problem is, he falls into that Peter Skoronsky, damn, you're good, but where do you play? And I don't know. My track record with guys like this has not been awesome. Now, I've told you this before. Certain teams are just not good at evaluating certain things.
Yeah.
I am apparently not as great at evaluating the tweener. I can tell you when they can't play tackle. It's when I hedge and I go, I don't know. J.C. Latham? Yeah, I wasn't wrong about that.
Yep.
Not for 1 second was I wrong about that. Peter Skoronsky hasn't been as good as I thought he would be. Could that be because there's no anchor on that line? He doesn't necessarily fit the scheme? Sure. But that makes guys really volatile. I want to have Will Campbell as my number 3 overall prospect. I'm not going to. But I do think a team will get a really good player in him. He may just be typecast as a guard.
Mm-hmm.
That may be what he is forever.
Oh, Rashawn Slater is the one that always comes to my mind.
That's the other side. They were both at Northwestern at the same time, and I evaluated them the exact same way. I was dogmatic that Rashawn Slater could play left tackle, could be a Hall of Fame guard. Skoronsky, I didn't really like as a guard, or I didn't really like as a tackle. I thought he could be a Hall of Fame guard. Well, now I've seen this play out 2 ways. I was really right about one, and the other one, well, you play for the team with the worst offensive line in the NFL, so I don't know what to do with you.
All right, Will Campbell going at the end of the top 10 to the Chicago Bears.
He is LSU's an interesting place in this class because they have a lot of guys that I think are super talented, but they're not going to go as high as they should. Will Campbell's one. Harold Perkins is one. Mason Taylor is one. And I can't really put my thumb on why that is. I mean, Brian Kelly plays an offense that, it's produced players. I don't think it held back Malik Neighbors this year.
Not much. No.
But for some reason, it seems like the industry just kind of holds down LSU guys. So it's like, I'm not going to say it's not a vendetta, but you look at the best receivers in the NFL, 3 of the 10 best receivers we have in the NFL are LSU guys.
Yeah. Well, you mentioned Perkins, and I thought, you know what? That's a name that I hadn't thought about in a long time.
You're not the first person I've done that to.
Perkins was one that at the beginning of this cycle, right, preseason, Harold Perkins is going to be in the top 5. I don't think I've seen his name in the first round of a single mock draft I've looked at.
Yeah, you won't. And when we get further down the road, I'll explain to you why. I think it's a little short-sighted, but there is a player in this class that I think we have to wait about 5 picks for him to come off the board. The difference between him and Harold Perkins is negligible at best to me. One of them has an exponentially higher bust rate. That one's going in the first round. Harold Perkins is not.
All right, the picks are in for the top 10 of the first Flowstradamus mock draft of the Draftmas season. Hang with us through the break. We'll be back here on ESPN Asheville.
When it comes to making fantasy picks on your favorite players, you want excitement, but you also want a platform you can trust. Better Picks is available in over 30 states, so if you're hearing this, it's probably available for you.
Better Picks is safe, secure, and super easy to use. Just pick more or less on your favorite player stats and put your skills to the test.
With Better Picks, you get the thrill of playing for up to 1,000 times your cash. So go ahead, make your picks and play for big wins with super fast payouts and withdrawals.
Go to betterpicks.com, BETRpicks.com, or download Better on the App or Play Store and use promo code RADIO to play for up to 1,000 times your cash. Plus, new users get up to a $200 match on their first deposit and join thousands playing across the U.S.
Must be 21 or older and in a jurisdiction where Better Picks operates. Terms and conditions apply. Concerned with your play? Call the NCPG at 1-800-522-4700.
I'm at a smoothie bar asking people if they'd switch smoothies with me for $574.
Oh, I'll switch.
So what about $574 if you switch your home insurance to Allstate?
That's a headache.
Nope, it's painless.
Oh, so it's easy money.
Yep, check Allstate first and you could save hundreds on quality home insurance today. You're in good hands with Allstate.
Not available in every state. Based on the national average annual savings for new home insurance customers surveyed in 2023 who switched to Allstate and reported savings. Savings vary.
If you or a loved one have been a victim of crime, the North Carolina Department of Public Safety Office of Victim Compensation Services provides programs to help you find peace of mind. We're here to help you apply for benefits that you may qualify for to recover from hardships such as lost wages and medical expenses. To learn more, visit ncdps.gov/4victims. That's ncdps.gov/4 VICTIMS.
After what was again
the most important
year of our lifetime. 2025's got a lot to live up to.
The most important events
of a new year.
Let's be hopeful.
Will happen here.
Who's ready?
On 570 WWNC.
If you're looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate in the mountains, you need to call the agents at Clarissa Sells WNC, brokered by eXp Realty. Check us out online at clarissasellswnc.com. And did I mention that Clarissa Sells WNC loves teachers? We love teachers so much, we're giving back 25% of our commission at closing. For more information, contact us today at 828-774-6343 or clarissasellswnc@gmail.com.
Welcome to the Ingalls Table, a delicious destination with recipes galore. The experts from the Ingalls Table take you through it step by step with expert tips and advice along the way. Just visit ingalls-markets.com. Ingalls, low prices, love the savings.
This is J.W. Whitley, General Manager at Parks Ford of Hendersonville. Our purpose, to improve lives with every interaction. Nominate your Parks Community Hero today at parkscommunityheroes.com. Like Trent and Doug, whose first instinct was to fill their trucks with supplies and drive to the hardest hit areas in those first hours. Like Eric, who hosted the football team to support their neighbors and begin the cleanup efforts. Nominate your Parks Community Hero today at parkscommunityheroes.com. That's parkscommunityheroes.com. Experience the Parks Promise today at parksfordhendersonville.com.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Adjacent counties, winter storm watches. I'd imagine we'll get into some of that in the coming hours as we go through this afternoon. Continue to see sunshine and some clouds around. Chilly day today with a gusty breeze at times. Barely above freezing. Low to mid-teens tonight, near freezing tomorrow. Then we'll get snow later Friday into Friday night. Accumulating snowfall, maybe 3 to 6 inches. From the Weather Channel, meteorologist Ray Stajic.
This report is sponsored by Rapid Radios.
Rapid Radios are instant push-to-talk walkie-talkies offering national LTE coverage and no subscription ever. Business owners can now keep in touch with up to 200 staff members at one time. Go to rapidradios.com now for up to 60% off and free shipping.
Are you displaced from your primary residence following Tropical Storm Helene? You may be eligible for moving and storage assistance for essential property. For more information, call 800-621-FEMA. That's 800-621-3362.
It's just not normal, the pain caused from chronic joint pain day after day. But some of you have dealt with that pain for so long, it becomes your new normal. Short-term fixes are not working. Get moving again in 2025 with help from QC Kinetics. QC Kinetics is the nation's leader in regenerative medicine joint preservation. Yes, you can revitalize your joints with advanced orthobiologic treatments at QC Kinetics. No steroids, no drugs, no surgery. This is the future of medicine using an array of natural solutions like PRP to attack the pain from arthritis. Tens of thousands of people with pain have discovered these cellular treatments and are living life again without that constant pain in their joints. Want to learn more about how you can refresh your joints to get lasting relief with these amazing treatments? Call QC Kinetics for a free consultation. Deal with joint pain now so you can make the most of the new year. Call QC Kinetics in Asheville and Greenville. Call 828-333-9517. That's 828-333-9517.
From the Ingalls Studios, this is ESPN Asheville, WPEK, W225CJ Fairview, WMXF Waynesville, and iHeart Radio Station.
Live from the Ingalls Studio.
I can't wait to play with myself every day.
The Sportsocracy.
Damn the devil to hell! Let the big dogs eat! Let them on the field!
Come get you some of this.
Fire them cannons! By golly, put more powder in those things.
He couldn't take any more disappointment.
Oh my God. The Jets killed him.
It is ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400. The Sportsocracy is heard everywhere you go on the iHeart Radio app, and you can watch us live in the Ingalls studio on YouTube. Just go to thesportsocracy.com, click the live video link, subscribe to the channel, and that way you can join us in the YouTube chat. Also, don't forget to follow us on all the social medias at The Sportsocracy. It is a
Mock Draft Wednesday.
It's the first mock draft of the Draftmas season from our very own at ESPN Draft Nerd, Jeremy Green.
It is what I do best.
Yes,
which is not saying much because I don't do many things good.
You do plenty good. You just do this weller.
Although I did stay up till 3 o'clock this morning making graphics for this, so, commitment's there.
Yeah. Yeah, you might call it a passion project of sorts.
Yeah. Speaking of that, we have at the bottom of this hour, we will be announcing my new little passion project. That we'll say it's Mullet and Friends.
That we will. We'll announce that after the 16th pick of the mock draft. Here, we've made it through 10 in the first hour, and Ben said in the YouTube chat that he just joined us, so anybody just joining us, here are the picks that have already been made in the first mock draft.
Cam Ward at 1 to the Tennessee Titans. Shedeur Sanders in a trade-up with the Las Vegas Raiders. I don't think his dad's going to agree to him going to Cleveland. I don't buy it. And it's felt like, even with the Antonio Pierce thing, he's forcing him to Las Vegas. I'm not saying that's what Cleveland would want to do. It's what I think they would try to make chicken salad out of chicken excrement. Travis Hunter to the Giants at 3. Kelvin Banks Jr., the offensive tackle from Texas, at 4 to the New England Patriots. Mason Graham, the defensive tackle from Michigan, to Jacksonville at 5. Abdul Carter, the edge from Penn State, to Cleveland with that traded down pick at 6. Will Johnson, corner from Michigan, to the Jets at 7. Tetero and McMillan, Arizona wide receiver, to Carolina at 8. Nick Scourton, edge rusher from Texas A&M, at 9 to the New Orleans Saints. And Will Campbell, offensive lineman, because I don't know what position he's going to play, but he should play it pretty well, to the Chicago Bears at number 10.
All right, that brings us to the 11th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, and it belongs to
the San Francisco 4th and Niners.
And the 49ers got a big decision to make.
James Pierce Jr., edge rusher out of Tennessee.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really understand why he's fallen out of favor with draft nerds like myself. I just don't. I don't get it. I don't get what you were expecting. I don't get what you didn't see. I don't get it. Is he thin? Yes, he is. He is a thinner edge rusher. If you're wanting a bigger guy, you got plenty of options because there's Shamar Stewart, there's Nick Scourton that we just talked about. I look at James Pierce on the opposite end of Nick Bosa and go, well, that could be terrifying for a long time.
Yes.
Drake Jackson, doesn't always work for us.
Well, I mean, he looked terrifying at USC when
He's
he was
looked good
coming
in San Francisco at times. It just hadn't happened enough.
Mm-hmm.
You talk about a guy that if I was the GM of an NFL team and I was a 4-man front team, I would be doing everything in my power to get Drake Jackson out of San Francisco. I've seen guys not fit that system or not fit exactly what one of those defensive coordinators wants. There's also a great chance Robert Saleh is going to be back in San Francisco as the defensive coordinator. So, yeah. Will McDonald, that went pretty okay.
Yes.
He was thinner than James Pierce.
Mm-hmm. And by all accounts, James Pierce more talented coming out, right?
James Pierce is not a liability against the run the way that Will McDonald was. That's usually what we say about D linemen that are this thin. I mean, Pierce lists at 242. I think Will McDonald actually listed at 235.
Mm-hmm.
There's always a rumor that he ate just a gigantic dinner at the combine and weighed in at, I want to say he weighed in at 238. James Pierce is bigger than him.
Yeah.
And he's better against the run.
Okay.
So you put him in a 4-man front like that. Look, Red Sea wanted him in Arizona. He ain't making it past you. Let me put it that way. There's a nice run of teams here that need pass rushers. Good thing is there's several of them right here. Beauty's in the eye of the beholder. You go get whichever SEC guy you want. They're all from the SEC.
Let's get to the next one then. At number 12.
This is, to me, and I get it, I'm nerdier than a lot of you. This is where this draft kind of takes a turn. And this is the last pick that I feel like I have a really good grasp on. Because if things went this way, and the Dallas Cowboys,
There we go,
are on the clock. Ashton Jeanty, running back, Boise State.
Well, this is like the easiest one on the board, isn't it? I think
sure.
every mock draft I've seen has him going to the Dallas Cowboys.
Of course they do. Because the Dallas Cowboys are currently starting Rico Dowdle, who I think has a nice role in a committee, but if you watch the two of them on tape, there is a big dadgum difference between the two. I don't necessarily think he's as elite of a prospect as everybody else does. I also think there's practically no way he doesn't come into the league as a top 10 running back off the jump. He's really small.
Mm-hmm.
That always makes me nervous. He's only 5'9". And I think that's like a Tank Spencer 5'9", where he's really 5'7". He just wears lifts in his shoes.
Right. But he won't look that small because, they still have the little Kansas State guy there.
Oh, what's his name?
It was in my mind.
Deuce Vaughn.
Yeah, Deuce Vaughn. Deuce Vaughn's still there, so he'll make Ashton look normal size.
Every 5'5" running back that's ever played in the NFL, in my head, immediately I go Darren Sproles.
Yes.
They look nothing alike. It's still Darren Sproles.
Fine.
He still saved Tank from getting mated by a bus in Indianapolis and is the reason we're here.
That he did.
I still want shirts made that said "Here by the grace of Darren Sproles," with like bus tail lights on the back.
Nice. You should create it. I think we'd sell a couple.
No doubt. Jeanty's a talented, very balanced running back. I don't know that he has very little bust potential because I don't see a way he comes in and gets fat or he comes in and he's slow. But you did see against Penn State, that's what you look like against elite competition. Now he just kept on going. Mm-hmm. And eventually he wears you down because the kid doesn't get tired. Cardio, he must do 7 times a day because he never gets tired. I'm in like with him. I'm not in love with him. I told you before the season, I had a late second, early third round grade on him. That has changed a little bit. I'm having to modify my theory on running backs because, well, the league changed.
Right.
I said I would never have a mock draft again that had 2 running backs in the first round. Well,
here we are.
Here we are, because there's 2 in this one.
Right. I mean, you had the rebirth of the running back position with Derrick Henry doing so well in Baltimore, Saquon Barkley just set the world on fire in Philadelphia, Josh Jacobs in Green Bay. There were a lot of examples of, okay, so we overlooked that position for a few years, or poo-pooed that position, so to speak, for a few years. Now maybe it's time to pay attention again.
Well, and you also have to – all right, I'm going to go on a little tangent because somehow we're, for the first time ever in something we have to do 32 in 3 hours, we're actually ahead of the clock. Is it that there was a rebirth, or is it that the really talented running backs that went from Team A to Team B went from a really bad team to a really good team? Saquon went from the Giants to the Eagles.
Mm-hmm.
Josh Jacobs went from the Raiders to the Packers.
Mm-hmm.
Derrick Henry went from the Titans to the Ravens.
Mm-hmm.
They were good before. They were just behind markedly worse offensive lines.
Sure.
Now teams are looking at this going, oh, if we invested in a running back and we put him behind our line, which is good, they can do crazy things like San Francisco did until theirs broke. I don't necessarily think it's I don't think it's a rebirth as it's being made out to be. No, you had a slew of running backs that were really talented that wound up on bad teams. Running backs on bad teams are always going to get held down to a point because you're always behind. There was a time the 5 best running backs in the NFL were all on bad teams.
Yes. And when you could be special on a bad team, shocker of shockers, what happens when you go to a good team.
And also you had value in the running backs because everybody devalued them. Mm-hmm. So all the smart teams went, hey, let's throw our little bit of shekels because we have all these guys to pay. We'll throw it at the running back, and that guy will come here and be a star. Be careful of the overcorrection. That's all I will say on that.
All right, a team probably not looking for a running back coming up at number 13.
Miami Dolphins. Sorry, some of these, for colorblind people, it's not real easy because the logo fades into the background.
Okay.
Where's the logo? It's not Green Bay because that G's not the right color.
Yeah. Number 13 is the Miami Dolphins, and their selection.
Malachi Starks, safety out of Georgia.
All right, now do they hang on to Javon Holland?
I don't care.
Well, I mean, Malachi's good on his own. Mm-hmm. If you're telling me they're going to marry the two together, that could be a special secondary.
I don't know the answer to that. Javon Holland will have a tremendous market if he were to make it out into the open market. I know Anthony Weaver well enough that you give me a piece like this, Malachi Starks can play. I mean, you're the Georgia guy. You feel free to wax poetic. I know you love the guy.
I do. I absolutely love him. And I've heard people talk like, oh, well, the Georgia secondary's not good. Why is Malachi Starks still a top prospect in the NFL draft?
Oh, can I answer that?
Please.
Do you even watch tape, bro? Why is he a top prospect? I don't know, because he's awesome.
Right.
Because it's very obvious that quarterbacks go, ooh, let's find number 24. He's right there. We're going to go over here. Because we're not real worried about over here. Pretty scared over there.
See, the fact that he had, we'll just go ahead and call it dog water talent around him in the secondary, it always made him look bad because he's the one chasing the play. Yeah. When the corner when the wide receiver slips the corner, and then all of a sudden here's Malachi Starks out here going, okay, I guess he's mine now. He's the one in the frame, and you go, oh look, Malachi's getting burned again. No, not really.
No, he's not.
He's not getting burned. He's the one trying to make up for the ills of everybody else.
And that happens to safeties a lot. I'll be 100% honest with you. Watching Malachi Starks on tape, I think he can play the Brian Branch role.
I agree.
Where he lines up in the slot. He moves all over the formation. Javon Holland can do that. It's not really necessarily what he does best. The best comp to Malachi Starks I have is Minkah Fitzpatrick.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, what position can you not play? Not applicable.
Right. What can you not do?
I mean, don't ask me to kick because I'm not particularly good at that, but I'm really good with the ball in my hands. Yep. I can play every position on a defense. I think he's a stud.
Yes. I think he's going to be
awesome.
And you
look at what Kyle Hamilton did to that Baltimore Raven defense, and because I know this is coming, it happens every single time we do this. Safeties in the NFL aren't worth top 15 picks. Go watch what Kyle Hamilton just did to the Baltimore Ravens defense. Understand that this is an imitation league, and then tell me that Malachi Starks isn't going this high. I'll wait.
Yep. I love Malachi Starks in Miami. I hope that works out for you. He's going to be a star for whoever takes him.
Oh, for sure.
At number 14.
You know, every year, and now look, I have a nickname. Actually, I have a slew of nicknames, but there's only one that has an NFL position in it. Mm-hmm. What is that?
The tight end whisperer.
I don't know how to appropriately explain how passionately I feel about this player being just an absolute dog. Number 14 is the Indianapolis Colts. Tyler Warren, tight end out of Penn State. Do you understand he threw 14 passes for Penn State this year?
Good for him.
That's not bad. He's super athletic, 6'6", 260, runs like a gazelle. He's always open. And what is the best friend of a mediocre, inaccurate quarterback? A tight end.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you want me to tell you the difference between Tyler Warren and practically every other high-level tight end, including Brock Bowers, who just had arguably the best season a rookie tight end's ever had? Let me tell you the difference between all of them and Tyler Warren. He will knock your head clean off your shoulders as a blocker. I haven't seen a guy like this in many, many years. Kyle Pitts couldn't block me.
Mm-hmm.
Brock Bowers, he wasn't asked to block much. He was a willing blocker, which is the dumbest phrase we use.
Well, I mean, when you're the number one wide receiver for your team, exactly. I'm not wasting you in the blocking game.
Tyler Warren was used on wham blocks in the run game and decapitated linebackers. I love watching him. You know how you said that every mock you see has Ashton Genty going to the Cowboys?
Yes.
I believe you're going to have every one of them having Tyler Warren going to the Colts very soon. Because it's not going to take long for people to watch the tape on Tyler Warren. He was the Mackey Award winner, but he was still kind of nondescript. And there are a lot of this is the best tight end class I've ever evaluated, and it's not even close. You're going to have 3, maybe 4 go in the top 50. 3 definitively. You're going to have 2 go in the top 20-ish picks.
That's a lot.
That may devalue him a little bit, but it shouldn't. I have him just a hair behind Brock Bowers, and Brock Bowers was the highest-rated tight end I've ever had.
Mm-hmm.
He was my number 1 player in the class last year.
Yep. I definitely lived up to the hype with the Las Vegas Raiders.
Yeah, he broke Mike Ditka's tight end rookie receiving record that stood since my father was 5. That's pretty good, considering I'm 37 years old.
Although he went to another scenario where, hey, you're the number 1 wide receiver again on your team.
Tony Turntable,
not going to be the same thing for Tyler Warren.
Tony Turntable said Tyler Warren reminds me of George Kittle, but better. I can't disagree with what he just said.
Better?
At this age, no doubt.
Okay.
Not close, because he's 22 years old right now. Am I telling you he's going to be George Kittle? No, but his upside's higher than that. We have 2 Super Chats on the way to the commercial break.
Here comes the money.
Here we go. Money talk.
Here comes the money.
We'll start with Alex S., who said, I don't know how Jalen Walker doesn't replace Louvu in Charlotte. I kind of covered that. Tito and McMillan was the last of the franchise players. Jalen Walker is raw. Doesn't necessarily have a defined position. I could not bring myself to bypass what I value to be a franchise player for what I think is more of a project. Now, you're not going to wait long on Jalen Walker. He will come off the board in very short order. and I understand why you said that. If I was Carolina and I wanted to do that, I would want to trade down just a little bit. I think that's going to be really hard to do in this class. Then one more.
Here comes the money.
Here we go. Money talk.
Here comes the money.
Red Sea with one of the funnier super chats I've seen in quite some time. Jeremy, how dare thou send my top target for the Cardinals to the 49ers? And that reminds me of every time I get in my car, the Parks Ford Mobile Studio to drive home, and I go, whoa, why, who are all these people living their lives, getting in my way, trying to get to their respective homes as well? You should just get out of my way and let me have what I want.
Yes.
In a perfect world, that's the way it would go. Now, look, Red Sea is a Cardinals fan. He is living in a place that I have been for many years, which is I see a prospect, and I want the prospect, and my team didn't make the playoffs, and I feel like I'm entitled to just a little joy, and then the Baltimore Ravens somehow take him right in front of me, because that happened like 8 times. That's why they're Baltimore, and we're the New York Jets.
The first Flowstradamus mock draft of the Draftmas season continues here in the Sportsocracy. Next, the Atlanta Falcons are on the clock at number 15, which also means we've got Flowstradamus' special announcement coming up after 2 more picks here in the Sportsocracy on ESPN Asheville.
This is the story of the one who, as a maintenance specialist for a historic high-rise, knows that vintage charm historically needs constant attention. Which is why when it's time to upgrade turn-of-the-century mechanicals, they turn to Grainger. With easy access to 1 million-plus products and the scale to deliver when and where you need them, the right tools and supplies are never far away. So the one can keep that vintage building running like new. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
At Haywood Regional Medical Center, your health means everything. In an emergency, every minute matters. Get to the hospital and get the care that you need as soon as possible. Haywood Regional's emergency department provides quality care, including advanced heart care at their accredited chest pain center. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Your health is nothing to wait for. For more information and to check average ER wait times, visit myhaywoodregional.com. That's myhaywoodregional.com.
Every year, millions of men, women, and children are trafficked worldwide, including right here in the United States. It's a hidden crime where victims are often isolated by fear, manipulation, or violence, and can happen in any community to victims of any age, race, gender, or nationality. Human trafficking undermines the rule of law, robs millions of their dignity and freedom, enriches transnational criminals and terrorists, and threatens public safety and national security everywhere. The U.S. Department of Homeland Security's Blue Campaign works to shine a light on this immediate issue. January is National Human Trafficking Prevention Month, with January 11th marking #WearBlueDay, Day, a day to unite in raising awareness. Take a stand against human trafficking by wearing blue, taking a photo and sharing it on social media, and using the #WearBlueDay. Learn the facts about human trafficking at dhs.gov/bluecampaign.
If you're looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate in the mountains, you need to call the agents at Clarissa Sells WNC, brokered by eXp Realty. Check us out online at clarissasellswnc.com. And did I mention that Clarissa Sells WNC loves teachers? We love teachers so much, we're giving back 25% of our commission at closing. For more information, contact us today at 828-774-6343 or clarissasellswnc@gmail.com.
Welcome to the Ingalls Table, a delicious destination with recipes galore. Need to whip up a dessert, entree, side dish? No problem. The experts from the Ingalls Table take you through it step by step with expert tips and advice along the way. Find the Ingalls Table at ingalls-markets.com or swing by the store and pick up your free copy of the Ingalls Table magazine. And let's get cooking. Ingalls, low prices, love the savings.
When you get tired of freezing your can at the tailgate, maybe it's time to ring in a new season. Tailgating season. Wherever you are, whatever the forecast, with good old ale, it's the perfect way to kick off game day. From Red Cup Revelry to just kicking it solo, you can't go wrong with Dale's Pale Ale, Dale's Light Lager, and Dale's Easy IPA. Honest ingredients, no BS. Drink responsibly, and we'll see you at the Tailgate.
The Sportsocracy.
That is some good, clean family fun there, eh, Cot?
We are back in the Sportsocracy on ESPN Asheville, coming to you live from the Ingles studio, and it is the first mock draft of the Draftmas season from at ESPN Draft Nerd. Jeremy Green doing the deep dive here at number 15.
I told you weren't going to have to wait long for this guy. The Atlanta Falcons. Jalen Walker from Georgia. Yeah, I think they've probably had an area scout on this guy for a minute.
Oh, I'm sure.
Jalen Walker is one of the weirdest prospects I think I've ever evaluated.
What makes him weird?
I don't know where he plays.
Well, does it matter?
Yes. It does.
A lot of teams play positionless football now. And
they do. All right, so I'm going to give you a name, and you tell me what the difference is.
Okay.
Isaiah Simmons. Freak of nature.
Yeah, pretty similar.
Really struggled to find a place in the NFL. He was built like a safety.
Mm-hmm.
Simmons is thinner. I think it's a very specific type of defensive coordinator that could use him. Raheem Morris is one of those guys. I could see a path that he bulks up and plays 3-4 edge. I see a path that he plays 4-3 off-ball linebacker. I see a path that he does a lot of things. I've been burned by this before. And guys like this make me super nervous. When they hit, they're great. When they miss, you look like a moron. Because it's one of those things that, why did you not see that? Why did you not see that he does a lot of things well, but he did a lot of things at Georgia well, just kind of moving around the defense, doing all kinds of things. That's not really how the NFL works. This is the best of the best of the best of the best. You have to have a set of skills and a personal knowledge of the position that you play. Just spinning a guy around in circles is really hard to do. All of that said, he's such an absolute freak of nature that I know he's going in the top 15. It's just hard for me to put him higher than that right now. I would love for him to come out and say, this is the position that I feel comfortable playing. I considered him with the San Francisco 49ers because losing Dre Greenlaw this past year was such a big deal for that defense, and I think he could be possibly the best linebacker they've ever had, outside of Patrick Willis. My problem is taking that in the top 11. In Atlanta, I feel like he would be moved around, and they have some other kind of hybrid guys, and I do really like Raheem Morris. I don't know that he's a great head coach. I've just seen him succeed as a defensive guy in so many different places that I feel like he's going to do that again.
Mm.
The offense, I believe, is trending in the right direction. It looked that way with Michael Penix. Your defense is just so unbelievably bad.
Well, the offense really couldn't have looked much worse than it did when with Kirk Cousins back there.
Correct.
So Michael Penix, it was a good start. I will admit that it was a good start for them. I think this would be a fine pick for, as you said, for a good defensive coordinator to be able to find places, because Jalen Walker is that he could play on the line. On the outside of it, far on the outside of it. He could play at the second level.
Wide nine.
Yeah.
Somebody, let me check the name. Jackass said Jalen Walker is Nolan Smith 2.0. And he very well could be.
Yeah, but I think he's better at getting after quarterbacks than Nolan was.
He is, no doubt, but he's also bigger.
Mm-hmm.
Not by much, but he's bigger. I kind of agree, but Nolan Smith even is just now finding his footing in Philadelphia, and he's super situational.
Yes.
A Philadelphia roster that, by the way, I've never had a harder time figuring out. What position do I give Philadelphia? Because you have a young player at all of them. The teams that are going to take Jalen Walker, they don't have that problem because he's not going to fall that far. Yeah, I would love to put him with a Baltimore. Yeah, because Baltimore's going to find a place to put him. Of course they are. They find a place to put everybody. He's not going to last that long. I'm not going to lie. I feel kind of the same way about the next guy that goes, and I'm already apologizing to Red Sea because I know he doesn't like this guy.
Oh, at number 16, that means it is time for
the Arizona Cardinals. Mikael Williams, edge rusher out of Georgia. Red Sea just hates him.
Why?
I don't really know.
Please,
I can't really figure that out. I think he's a perfect fit for Arizona. I just never thought he was going to get there. Arizona, to me, fell into a perfect spot because I can tell you practically definitively one of these handful of edge rushers is going to fall in your lap. The first time we did this, it was Nick Scourton. I don't see that happening now. Because you got two Georgia guys that I see so similarly because they're such freak athletes. But they are raw. I mean, I think you even the Georgia homer can admit that.
Absolutely. But it is the raw talent that you could see that is moldable in him. And, while he has had the best defensive coaches in the country working with him over the last few years at Georgia, still a lot more that he can learn, and there's a lot more body that he can grow into too, I feel like. I feel like there is more that he can put on that, and he could be an absolute beast a few years from now.
I agree. I think he could be the best edge rusher in this class. He has the highest high side. The only thing that would scare me is he has the lowest floor. Because he could be like Trayvon Walker, who spends 2 years basically irrelevant outside of some burst plays.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that's how that's going to go because there's one great big advantage into what he's going into in Arizona. I feel like Arizona has a structure. And you've got Darius Robinson, who will be healthy next year, that can handle a lot of those 3-4 DN guys are a lot like air traffic controllers of you're just letting the planes get to where they're trying to get to. I really like this kid. Red Sea has responded in Super Chat form, which is one of many reasons that we love him.
Here comes the money.
Here we go. Money talk.
Here comes the money.
I said about Mikael Williams, he's a raw prospect who I feel needs some time to really contribute, would be coming into a team that would both ask him and need him to be the best edge guy immediately. I don't dispute anything you just said. The problem is you're picking at 16, and I don't feel like you're going to trade up.
No.
I would love James Pierce to be the guy that fell to them. And he might. Not everybody likes him as much as I do. So if you're telling me that San Francisco fell in love with Mikael Williams or Jalen Walker instead of James Pierce and all of these things got jumbled, I can't tell you you're wrong. That's one of the things about doing this so early is that this is where I think it sits now. We have a whole lot of moving parts to get to that ultimately lead to when this – the draft's a lot like a jigsaw puzzle. Right now we got 5,000 pieces and we have a picture on the box. Now we got to figure out where all the pieces land, which is probably my best segue ever into what I'm getting ready to say. Tank, at this point in life, you are a bit of a busy man.
I am. Jack of all trades, if you will.
You're doing a lot of things around this here radio ranch. So, as we were conspiring the draft, we started doing scheduling things because, we're going to be at the Super Bowl. We're going to be at the Combine, and you will be with me for all of those trips.
Yes.
However, the amount of content that we did when you didn't have 84,000 roles in this building and what we did last year was discrepant because you are pulled in other directions. So we've been trying to figure out a way to make Patreon and all those things work for an extended period of time. I told you at the end of the last year that I was going to be looking to sprout my little baby bird wings. And I can't give you all of the details. I can give you all the details of this right now. I can't give you the details of everything right now. Those are still being put into place. But we are going to launch a podcast with me exclusively. It will be me and all of my heathen draft friends doing the deepest dive you've ever seen on the NFL draft. That is from now until April. We will keep doing that in perpetuity. It will really focus in on the draft during football season. It will be more of like a passion project for me in the off season of I can talk about sports, obviously. I can talk about politics. I can talk about movies. I can talk about all kinds of things because I'm not just a sports guy. I like doing a lot of things. This will be completely uncensored. It'll be on Patreon. The best that we have conjured up at this point, the cost of it's going to be about $5 a month. We're not trying to make a fortune on that. We're trying to make it. I want to make this really cool in the Shane Gillis mold of, yes, it is paid for content, but it's paid for content that you get something that's so much more than what other people do. Over my travels, since we've been doing this ESPN show, I've become friends, and Tank can vouch for this after doing some of the draft circuit with me, where we would go through a room and 5 people would, shake my hand or say hey to me, and hey, who was that? I'm not 100% sure. I know his face, but I don't really know his name. I've been using the last few months. The draft is my passion. This is what I really like to do. I like spending about 6 months on the draft, and I need 6 months of outlet doing other things. So we're going to take the daily draft concept that we use on this show, and that's what it's going to be called, is the daily draft. It will come out in the mornings. In the beginning, it'll be about 3 times a week. 2 of them will be pre-recorded. 1 of them will be live. And then we will shield into more lives, less pre-recorded, but there will be more content as time goes on. All of these things are going to go up on our social medias tomorrow. Now, there's one further step to this. Anybody that does the annual subscription, which is, you're showing a lot of faith in me if you do that, to get all of the draft stuff. When we go to Green Bay in the spring for the draft and for the combine, we're going to have custom imaging made, which is our table skirt, the backdrop, all of those things. Your name will be on it. So when you see us on the screen, you'll be able to see your name in gold on the back plate, because basically you're helping to fund that, to do commercial-free things. We have great sponsors. We love our sponsors. We really like keeping a tight-knit group, and we don't want to shake that tree 100 times to do things. That's why we do things like this. But I got a lot of people that said, you didn't do as much draft content last year. This year I'm going to do way more of it, which is going to lead to me not being here in the studio every single day. I will be doing a lot of things from the Mullet Manor, but I'm really excited about it. I have a large name first guest that's been on this show before, very good friend of mine, that will be doing the first episode. We have not confirmed the date, which is why I'm not telling you who it is. But I'm really excited about it, and I wanted to cover this so people didn't think it was, oh, Jeremy's trying to do this thing without Tank. Tank is out of hours. There are no more hours for day. Tank to give.
Precisely. And it's going to be awesome. And I love letting you roll and do all of your drafty things, because you're just better at it, right? You're better at it. You're more versed in the draft. And I'll be there to support you however you need me to.
Well,
so, I'll pop in on an episode or two.
For sure.
No doubt.
And you will still be involved in the draft content on this show.
Of course.
We wanted to get to this point because this is basically going to be the only mock draft outside of the draft season that we do on this show. We saw some of the comments earlier of, why are you doing a mock draft before the season even ends? Well, we were trying to get to this point to tell you that.
Exactly.
We're not making a clear delineation, but the draft content is going to go to one central place. It'll all make sense in about 24 hours when you see all of these things. They're going to have their own pages, their own things. And I'm really excited. Look, at the net root of it, I'm a draft guy. And I had, after the flood, I had kind of a weird come to Jesus of, man, I didn't, kind of strayed from my mission here. My mission statement got strayed from.
Yep.
And I still want to do all those things, but I really want to recalibrate myself to. We got a lot of people that have followed us for a long time for draft stuff, and I want you to be able to have that.
Yep. Just time to focus in, dig down deep on the 2025 NFL draft class. The first mock draft, though, will continue right here on ESPN Asheville and the YouTubes right after this.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Adjacent counties, winter storm watches. I'd imagine we'll get into some of that in the coming hours as we go through this afternoon. Continue to see sunshine and some clouds around. Chilly day today with a gusty breeze at times. Barely above freezing. Low to mid-teens tonight, near freezing tomorrow. Then we'll get snow later Friday into Friday night. Accumulating snowfall, maybe 3 to 6 inches. From the Weather Channel, meteorologist Ray Stajic.
This report is sponsored by Taco Bell. The new $7 Lux Cravings Box from Taco Bell with 3 indulgent full-size classics, chips, nacho cheese sauce, and a drink for just $7 at participating stores for a limited time only while supplies last. Price and participation varies. Drinks exclude freezes. Tax extra.
Playoffs? We're talking about playoffs? You bet we are. Kevin Hart here for DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL playoffs. Scoring touchdowns is key to winning in the playoffs, and you can score big by betting on them at DraftKings, the #1 place to bet touchdowns. Ready to place your first bet? Try betting on something simple like a player to score 6. Go to DraftKings Sportsbook app and make your pick. New DraftKings customers can bet $5 to get $200 in bonus bets instantly.
Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code WPEK. That's code WPEK for new customers to get $200 in bonus bets instantly when you bet just $5.
Only on DraftKings Sportsbook. The crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov. 21 plus, North Carolina only. Eligibility restrictions apply. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/audio.
As we recover as a community, it's important to help each other. Hummingbird Insurance, as always, is offering free assistance to help you navigate your health insurance options for this year. Headquartered in Asheville, Hummingbird is one of the top-rated insurance agencies in the country. Schedule a free consultation to compare plans across multiple insurance carriers. The enrollment deadline is January 15th. We make it easier than hauling water. Visit healthcaresucks.com. That's healthcaresucks.com.
At Ingles, whether we're celebrating Friday night rivals, televising college basketball games, bringing the Fan Fest to semi-pro soccer, or taking you out to the ball game at your minor league park, it's all in the bag. Ingles, low prices, love the savings.
Mountain Graphics and Showtime Sports have teamed up under a new local owner to serve our community with the finest custom apparel and unique branded items at the best price. Mountain Graphics and Showtime Sports can customize whatever you, your team, or your local group may need with high-quality screen printing, embroidery, and laser engraving. Visit mtngraphicsavl.com or showtimesportsavl.com. That's mtngraphicsavl.com or showtimesportsavl.com for your local one-stop custom apparel shops.
If you're looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate in the mountains, you need to call the agents at Clarissa Sells WNC, brokered by eXp Realty. Check us out online at clarissasellswnc.com. Download our free app on Google Play or the App Store. Type in Asheville Home Search. You'll be able to connect with our team and see all the available homes for sale in our area. For more information, contact us today at 828-774-6343 or clarissasellswnc@gmail.com.
The Sportsocracy.
Why are you smiling? Because I love football.
We are the Sportsocracy. We're live on ESPN Asheville, and the first mock draft of the Draftmas season from at ESPN. Draft nerd Jeremy Green, the 17th pick, and the 2025 NFL Draft belongs to
the Cincinnati Bengals.
Oh, brace yourselves, folks.
I told Tank before the show there's one pick that I know there's going to be a fan base that gets really angry at, and it's going to be this one. Kenneth Grant, defensive tackle out of Michigan. I know you took Chris Jenkins last year. I'm well aware of that. I considered Walter Nolan. Walter Nolan's a little undersized and a little bit rawer than I would want him to be. He does have a higher high side. Kenneth Grant is going to fix a good number of your ills, and I absolutely love him. No man that is 6'3", weighs 339 pounds, should move like that. Ever. It should not happen on the planet Earth. I get it. Chris Jenkins didn't really hit you in your feels last year. I understand that. This is the one that you actually wanted. For what I think is coming, and now I will be 100% honest of this is a speculative, I have a funny feeling I know what's coming in Cincinnati, and I think you're going to need the plug in the middle, and it's Kenneth Grant. I'm looking at the talent on this team and how I evaluated them all and how I would be thinking if I was trying to hire a defensive coordinator, and it would be we're going to have some three-man front. We're going to have some Chris Jenkins playing end. We're going to have some Trey Hendrickson with his standing up. I got to be able to improve defensively, and I think this is how you do it.
It all starts on the defensive line.
Well, you got to have somebody that can get push up the middle. They don't have anybody.
Right.
Now, losing DJ Reader, did you notice that without him, your defense was not nearly as good as it used to be? The best comp I have on Kenneth Grant is he is a much better version of DJ Reader.
Okay. All right. So no offensive weapon there.
I think they're re-signing T. Higgins.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I think after you saw what he could do in that kind of disjointed sample size, you can't let him walk out the door. I mean, you might have some hurt feelings, and yeah, it's not great that you're going to have to pay two receivers high-end wide receiver money. But, I mean, it's not like you're going to turn into a defensive juggernaut.
Yeah.
I don't care if you bring in Robert Saleh to be the defensive coordinator. You're not going to all of a sudden become a great defensive team. You're going to be a passable defensive team with an offense that can track meet you. I did consider a tight end, but I should also specify, in this scenario, they re-signed Mike Gesicki. If they didn't, then Colston Loveland would definitely be worth talking about.
I was going to say that's the one that's the Michigan player that I'd have my eye on for the Cincinnati Bengals. I don't know it's going to cost you all that much to get Mike Gesicki back. Why would you not do both? Why would you not bring both in? Rookie tight ends, there's a learning curve that happens.
Gambit fan, I'm not going to lie. This is one of the many reasons that I like that feller. Burrow really likes Eric All. I that went into the mind brain too.
Okay.
I like your two tight end idea. I think it's Gesicki and All, not Loveland and Gesicki. Those two do very similar things.
Mm-hmm.
I like the dynamic between Gesicki and All. He got hurt this year, and injuries are a huge issue with him. But I think bringing back Gesicki lets you use him in a more specialized role.
All right, let's go to number 18. That pick belonging to
the Seattle Seahawks.
Oh, excuse me.
Cameron Williams, offensive tackle out of Texas. I can already hear the but he didn't play that much. But he got hurt. Yep, I got all those things. He is super raw. This is the spot that I look at with Seattle. I think your weapons are and we had somebody, I think it was Boom earlier, asked me if I thought that Seattle was headed off the cliff. I don't. I like a lot of the pieces they have. What's bothering me is I don't love your offensive line, and I think you need to take a shot. I love their defense. If you just look at the sum of all parts on that Seattle defense and you give it another year to mature, they should be phenomenal. Would I like to take a shot on a quarterback? Absolutely. There ain't one here.
Mm-hmm.
You're in better shape with Geno Smith and Sam Howell. I'm not going Jalen Milroe. I'm just not going to do it. And I'll save anybody asking. We're going to go through 32 picks, and none of those picks' names are going to rhyme with Jalen Milroe.
Seattle Seahawks, Cameron Williams, tackle out of Texas.
He projects as a right tackle. They already have Charles Cross, who, in spite of some ills, I still think is the left tackle of the future. I believed in Abram Lucas. I don't believe in Abram Lucas at this point the way that I did. I think you need but Now, here's the caveat to that. I believe the bringing Cameron Williams along, you can do it much the way the Pittsburgh Steelers did with Broderick Jones. He doesn't start off the jump because you can have Abraham Lucas over there.
Mm-hmm.
And you bring him along with the intention of making the switch sometime about midseason, then he just takes over the right tackle spot. And Abraham Lucas becomes a swing tackle. You might even move him to guard. I remember when he came out, there were people that thought he would have to slide into guard. I don't know about that. I don't know what Seattle's done. I don't know. Once you're 3 years removed from being a prospect, it's harder for me to say, well, this is what you did in college. Yeah, college was a long time ago. College was almost a presidential term ago. You remember the world 4 years ago? Yeah, neither do I.
It's been a while.
Been a minute.
Been a while.
A lot's changed in that time.
The 19th overall pick in the 2025 NFL Draft. Moving on in the first Flowstradamus mock draft here.
The Houston Texans. Another Senior Bowl combatant. I'm calling him that now just out of spite.
Good for you.
Walter Nolan, defensive tackle out of Ole Miss. If there is a player in this class that I will bet my left pinky finger is going to go higher than you think he is, it's Walter Nolan. He was the number one player in America coming out of high school. He went to Texas A&M, which was, well, not the greatest decision he ever made in his life. Then he went to Ole Miss, and I started seeing some of what I was promised. I think he can be an absolute dog in the league. And you know how you get the most out of a player like him?
How's that?
Put him between Daniil Hunter and Will Anderson Jr. You get that kind of push on the interior, you're getting into that four-man front that can be terrifying. I know somebody's going to say, but what about the offensive line? And this is a great time for me to say a little manifesto that I say every single year. You can only invest so much in an offensive line. You do realize you just took your right tackle in the second round a year ago. You do realize you just took your center in the beginning of the third a year ago.
Yes.
You just took Kenyon Green 2 years ago at 14 overall. You're heavily invested in Laramie Tunsil. How many picks are you going to throw at this? The Texans and the Jets are two teams that are heavily invested in the offensive line. It's not the talent. You got to get the right guy to coach them. Or you got to sunk cost and say, well, I boo-booed that. The problem is that the guy that would be doing that is the one that made the decision in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot easier to do when you replace a GM to say, man, I don't know what that last guy was thinking. He was a moron. I just realized I have the wrong logo on Walter Nolan's little thing.
Oh,
it makes
no.
me so angry. I checked every one of those meticulously, and I still got it wrong.
Shoot. Houston Texans, not a lot of money to play with in the offseason. They've got their draft capital, and there's nothing else. Like you got to make every pick count. You can't have a Kenyon Green pick, which, by the way, that was only 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Wow. Feels like much longer.
And a good point from Ben Whitley. I'm not even sure. When all things are the same, he doesn't even start anymore because they slid Titus Howard into guard.
Mm-hmm.
They've already basically tapped out on that one. So it would be hard to tap out on Blake Fisher, who was horrible this year, or Juice Scruggs, who was more middle of the road. Mm-hmm. You're invested. You made the investment. You got to make that work. You know, it's like stock traders that, well, I mean, I put all this money into Enron, but, you know, they were doing stuff that they ought not have been. So I'm just going to take more money and throw it over here. Yeah, eventually you run out of money doing that. And that's kind of where Houston's at.
Yep.
You got to make this work.
All right, the first mock draft of at ESPN Draft Nerd here on the Sportsocracy. Let's get one more in before the top of the hour here at number 20.
The Denver Broncos.
All right, who's going to go play with Bo Nix?
One job.
Oh, excuse me.
Don't make me bring back the fat AI baby. It's still in here. I'm not real sure where, but I know it's there. Colston Loveland, tight end out of Michigan. he's not as good of a blocker as Tyler Warren. And as I dig in on the thinner positions first. So I'm more versed on quarterback, tight end, safety, linebacker, and running back right now than I am wide receiver, offensive line, defensive line. As I went down the rabbit hole with tight ends, it became pretty obvious pretty quick. Colston Loveland's not as good as Tyler Warren. Tyler Warren's the one. Colston Loveland is a phenomenal consolation prize. I do not have Harold Fannin in the first round, but he's pretty close. That's the kid out of Bowling Green.
Mm-hmm.
That he was actually the leading tight end receiver in the country this year. But he's not far out of the first round. This is a really good tight end class. And I look at what Denver's doing. Look, Cortland Sutton's played like a one. Marvin Mims has been one of the best deep threat receivers in the league. He just hadn't done it enough. And then Devin Vele he's good at football.
Yeah.
He's a 27-year-old rookie, but he's really good at football.
Great awareness to pluck him out of off the ground.
Well, I mean,
for touchdowns.
It does help when Sean Payton goes, "Hey, that dude has an 11-year-old kid. I want him to come be a rookie on my team." Taysom Hill. Seen you do this before.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I don't necessarily know that the investment's going to be at receiver. I think it's going to be at tight end because they do not have one of those right now. I mean, you can chuck Adam Troutman out there as much as you want to. Greg Dulcich got bounced around the league like a bouncy ball because Sean Payton, he didn't fit what Sean Payton wanted to do. Colston Loveland does. And I think that will allow you to get the most out of Bo Nix.
Could help his completion percentage. Although he doesn't really need much help in that scenario.
No, what would be nice is if you would get Marvin Mims on the field just a little bit more. So the fact that practically every time he goes deep, something really good happens. You should do that more. Like a lot more.
You're in the Sportsocracy. This is ESPN Asheville. The mock draft, first one of the draft this season, continues after the top of the hour.
If you or a loved one have been a victim of crime, the North Carolina Department of Public Safety Office of Victim Compensation Services provides programs to help you find peace of mind. We are here to help you apply for benefits that you may qualify for to recover from hardships such as lost wages and medical expenses. To learn more, visit ncdps.gov/4victims. That's ncdps.gov/4VICTIMS.
Everyone felt the impact of Hurricane Helene. At Crossville Studios, they're helping to rebuild what was lost. Right now, get deeply discounted flooring starting at just 79 cents per square foot. From porcelain and hardwood to vinyl, Crossville Studios' wide selection means something for every home and budget. And their friendly team is happy to assist you in the process while you restore your home. Visit Crossville Studios in Asheville at 15 Design Avenue in Fletcher to see how they can help.
Join us on Sunday, February 2nd at the Harris Cherokee Center in Asheville, North Carolina for Stars Serving Up Love, presented by Explore Asheville. Tennis legends Andre Agassi, Andy Roddick, Jessica Pegula, Emma Navarro, and more will rally for Hurricane Helene relief in Western North Carolina. Enjoy mic'd-up matches, on-court youth activities, and live DJ sets. 100% of net proceeds benefit local nonprofits. Tickets on sale now. Get your tickets at starsservinguplove.com and be part of this incredible day of tennis and community.
It's just not normal, the pain caused from chronic joint pain day after day. But some of you have dealt with that pain for so long, it becomes your new normal. Short-term fixes are not working. Get moving again in 2025 with help from QC Kinetics. QC Kinetics is the nation's leader in regenerative medicine joint preservation. Yes, you can revitalize your joints with advanced orthobiologic treatments at QC Kinetics. No steroids, no drugs, no surgery. This is the future of medicine using an array of natural solutions like PRP to attack the pain from arthritis. Tens of thousands of people with pain have discovered these cellular treatments and are living life again without that constant pain pain in their joints. Want to learn more about how you can refresh your joints to get lasting relief with these amazing treatments? Call QC Kinetics for a free consultation. Deal with joint pain now so you can make the most of the new year. Call QC Kinetics in Asheville and Greenville. Call 828-333-9517. That's 828-333-9517.
After what was again
the most
important year of our lifetime. 2025's got a lot to live up to.
The most important events
of a new year.
Let's be hopeful.
Will happen here.
Who's ready?
On 570 WWNC.
It's time to discover the convenience and time savings of contact-free pickup with Ingles Curbside. Just visit shop.ingles-markets.com or download the app. And your Ingles personal shopper gets to work with specialized training on how to select the freshest items for a pre-scheduled pickup. They'll even text you with updates. You pull up to a designated space and your personal shopper delivers your items right to your vehicle. Fresh, fast, and affordable. It's all in the bag. Ingles. Low prices. Love the savings.
Do better, be better every day. That's the Parks Promise. Our mission, to improve lives with every interaction. This is JW, General Manager at Parks Ford Hendersonville. Experience the Parks Promise today at parksfordhendersonville.com. That's parksfordhendersonville.com.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Adjacent counties, winter storm watches. I'd imagine we'll get into some of that in the coming hours as we go through this afternoon. Continue to see sunshine and some clouds around. Chilly day today with a gusty breeze at times. Barely above freezing. Low to mid-teens tonight, near freezing tomorrow. Then we'll get snow later Friday into Friday night. Accumulating snowfall, maybe 3 to 6 inches. From the Weather Channel, meteorologist Ray Stajic.
This report is sponsored by First Restoration Services.
When disaster strikes, trust First Restoration Services of Asheville. From water damage to fire restoration, we're here 24/7 to bring your home back to life. First Restoration Services. Disasters happen, we take care of them all. Check us out at FRS247.com.
Some people just know they could save hundreds on car insurance by checking Allstate first. Like, you know to check that your seats aren't in the visitor section first, before buying tickets.
I'm so excited for this game. I can't believe you got us tickets.
Me too. Wait, are we on the wrong side?
Yeah, checking first is smart. So check Allstate first for a quote that could save you hundreds.
This is going to be a long game.
You're in good hands with Allstate.
Savings vary. Subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
NC Department of Adult Correction is hiring correctional officers statewide. Benefits include a $10,000 sign-on bonus, paid vacation, and health insurance. That's right, a $10,000 sign-on bonus, paid vacation, and health insurance. Explore a career in criminal justice and learn what it actually involves. Looking for dedicated people with integrity and compassion who are interested in a stable and rewarding career. Visit dac.nc.gov/cojobs. dac.nc.gov/cojobs.
From the Ingles Studios, this is ESPN Asheville, WPEK, W225CJ Fairview, WMXF Waynesville, and iHeart radio station.
Live from the Ingles Studio.
I can't wait to play with myself every day.
The Sportsocracy.
Damn the devil to hell! Let the big dogs eat! Let them on the field!
Come get you some of this.
Fire them cannons! By golly, put more powder in those things.
He couldn't take any more disappointment.
Oh my God. The Jets killed him.
It is ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, 1400. The Sportsocracy is live in the Ingles Studio and heard everywhere you go around the world on the iHeart Radio app, live or on demand, and also seen on YouTube. Just go to thesportsocracy.com, click the live video link, subscribe to the channel, join us in the chat, or you can follow us on all the social medias at The Sportsocracy. And today is the first mock draft from at ESPN draft nerd Jeremy Green for the Draftmas season.
Gonna be a mock draft.
And we call it a
Mock Draft Wednesday.
That's right. And it is time to get into the
20s. Number 21.
Right, number 21 in the 2025 NFL Draft. That pick belonging to...
Fire them cannons! By golly, put more powder in those things.
All right, make me happy, Jeremy. What are my Bucks going to do in the draft?
Siobhan Ravel Jr., cornerback out of East Carolina.
Okay, I can dig it. It's a little smaller school. You may not be familiar with him, but I have seen this kid play a couple of times over the last couple of years, and he is real good.
He will also break a record, I believe, as the first NFL draft pick ever that I can say we played for the same coach.
Nope. Kyle Duggar, Lenore Ryan University.
He wasn't a first-round pick.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's right. He was like a second round, third round.
I think he went in the late second.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Yeah, he will be the
first
round. And I'm telling you, he's going in the first round. A little birdie told me that he accepted a bid to the Shrine Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how. There's no way he's going to participate. I mean, he tore his ACL in October. I know medical miracles happen, but I don't think he's going to be doing anything on field. He is. If you like Tariq Woolen, you'll probably like Siobhan Ravel. He's really long. He's a really good zone corner. I'm not sure that he can hold up in man. He wasn't asked to do that a lot. Mike just didn't do that much. And then once Blake Harrell took over, Siobhan was already gone.
So what's the perfect opportunity? Go to a zone-heavy team.
Go play for Todd Bowles.
You go to a zone-heavy team, and he will have the opportunity to be the best one on the field because we can't keep a corner. It's just not in the cards. I like Zion McCullum. I really like him, but he's not a one. Siobhan Ravel, is he a one? Future one in this league? Siobhan Ravel, is he a one in this league?
I think he can be. I really do. I think he can be.
I like it. Good job for you.
I think there are about 7 guys that I've already lined up with teams and gone, I'm going to shoehorn this into existence. And that's one of them. I absolutely love it.
Yep. Let's go number 22, the
Pittsburgh Steelers. It's a name that if you're not a total draft nerd like me, you're probably going, hey, why have you not said Luther Burden III?
Yeah, that's. I've seen a lot of mock drafts that have him in like top 12.
Yeah, and I can't get there, and I'll tell you why. It's not that I don't think he's a good player. I think he's a phenomenal player. He's small. He's small. I don't think he's going to test particularly well, and I've read this book before. I've told you 10 times. My best comp on Luther Burden's Deebo Samuel.
Yeah.
You get the ball in his hand, good things happen. Problem is it might be kind of difficult to get the ball in his hands. So I've seen this where these guys fall, and I'm afraid that's what's going to happen to him. I've also seen Pittsburgh do a really good job of taking a talent that was maybe not as respected across the industry, and I go all the way back to John Brown when he was coming out of Pittsburgh State, and they make players out of him.
Mm-hmm.
I would love him here with George Pickens because to me, he's the exact opposite of George Pickens. He doesn't have all the physical tools. He just works so much harder than everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
And he makes the best of what he's got.
Is he crazy?
No.
Then he's out. The Pittsburgh Steelers can't do not crazy wide receivers.
And look, they've drafted some that were not cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. It's just the best ones tend to be.
Okay. I mean, I guess here and there they have.
They almost always only have one crazy one at a time, and I don't think George Pickens is going anywhere anytime soon.
No. I believe you're going to be
Although they did have
him.
Antonio Brown and Martavis Bryant at the same time. So I guess that kind of poo-poos the...
They did, and they had Deontay Johnson and George Pickens at the same time.
And Martavis Bryant wasn't crazy. He just really liked drugs. Like, all of them.
Like all of the drugs. Plaxico, did he have a crazy teammate?
Yeah, Plaxico just wasn't really good at the safety. Beating one or putting one on.
Nope.
That
Can't
was
do
a
it.
good joke.
Yeah.
And that came off the top of my head.
By the way, don't point your fingers like that. You might get a penalty. Just be careful.
Yeah.
They don't like that.
I'm much more worried about pointing my gun where Plaxico pointed his, which led to an exit wound out the back of his thigh.
I feel unsafe. Pittsburgh Steelers taking not a crazy wide receiver in Luther Burden. I guess it could work.
That is something you can get behind. I've got a couple Patriot things in the YouTube chat. Timothy O'Toole, a little bit behind, but Duggar was top of the second round. I knew he wasn't in the first. I just couldn't, and I thought he was in the second, but I thought he was later. 44 sticking out in my head. That might be, I don't know, my brain works in a weird way. And Tyson Carter asked, he was joining late, saw that we went Banks for the Patriots. Is it insane to go Abdul Carter for the Patriots, or are you just going best player available? It depends. I've got to prop up Drake May. I'm not taking a defensive player with the Patriots. Mm-hmm. I'm not. I don't care if it's – I love the idea of Travis Hunter, but it's as much because of what he can do at receiver as it is playing corner. If Travis Hunter was there, yeah, I'm doing that. Outside of that, I'm going best offensive lineman on the board because your offensive line's bad. And I think you really hit on Drake May. You've got to prop him up. So either you go the receiver to prop him up. I think you already have those and receivers pretty deep. So that's why I went offensive tackle.
Yep.
I would not go Abdul Carter.
Yep. Give trash talk points to Stephen Tao, the Baltimore Ravens fan, who says, just give him time. He'll be crazy if he does go to Pittsburgh. Talk about Luther Burden.
It is kind of a chicken egg thing with Pittsburgh. Do they draft crazy receivers, or do the Yinzers make them crazy?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know the answer to that.
Mm-hmm. It's all of those Manny Brothers sandwiches they've been eating. It's just too much.
Well, I mean, I will say this: you go 2 years of hearing people say, you never hear the word out. You only hear That's enough to drive you a little. Go I don't know what that means.
I haven't hung out around a lot of Pittsburghers, so.
Oh, now I will say, you ever seen that the Spider-Man meme where they're all pointing finger guns at each other?
Yes.
Me making fun of somebody's accent falls into that.
Of course it does.
You don't have much room to talk. Sling blade.
Mm-hmm.
I know. I'm self-aware.
Gambit fan says Yinzers. They're called Yinzers.
That's what I said.
No, I called them Pittsburghers.
Yeah,
and
no,
see, I like that better.
Yinzers.
No, Pittsburghers is better.
No,
Yinzers doesn't make any sense.
Pittsburghers is a restaurant, first of all, and Yinzers is what they're called.
Mm-hmm.
That would be like somebody. Okay, let me give you an example of what you're saying. Right
yes.
now. So what would you call people from where we're from?
Ashevilleans.
Okay. I forgot. I'm talking to a moron. So it doesn't. If what you basically just said right there would be somebody coming down here and going, "How y'all Appalachians doing?" First person ever said it to me, I will open palm slap you with the backside of the pimp hand.
Y'all Appalachians.
No, and I'll talk to you like a bad dog. No, you do not do that again. I don't know what that was. No.
All right. You're in the Sportsocracy.
Oh, Stephen Tao.
What?
I can't say that, but I wish I could.
Yeah, that's not.
I wish I could say it.
Good for you.
And on my new podcast, I will be able to.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Secret points for Stephen Tao. Let's go.
Secret points should be a thing. Why did we just think of that? We've been doing this for 4 years. We just came up with secret points.
Yes, secret points. It's a thing from now on. We'll make a note. Let's go to the 23rd pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, and
the Los Angeles Rams
will select
Benjamin Morrison, cornerback out of Notre Dame. You talk about a kid that I am drunk in love on. I love Ben Morrison. I think this kid, had he not gotten hurt, I think he would have wound up in the top 10. And a smart team is going to see him, like that team that sat back and let Jared Verse fall in their lap last year, and go, that's fine, gimme. Come on down. You can come be the number one corner here, and we are going to love you a lot. He's so talented. One of the things about the college football playoff that's, I'm not going to say it's lessened it for me, but I hate it, is that there are a handful of guys that are not playing in this thing. Benjamin Morrison's one. Josh Simmons at Ohio State's another. I just wish I could see those guys. Because you're like first-round talents, and I would love to see you in this vacuum. When you really break it down, there's not a ton of first-round talents between these four teams. Just think about it. How many Texas guys have I said? 2 offensive linemen.
Mm-hmm.
One of them's not playing.
Mm-hmm.
How many Penn State guys have I said? 2. How many Ohio State guys have I said?
None.
Not nary a one.
Interesting.
I knew that going in, and it still caught me. Now, you get a lot of guys in the last 10 picks here that are playing in the college football thing.
I was going to say.
Or are on teams that are playing it.
There better be some coming up soon.
There are a few.
Yeah. All right, Benjamin Morrison to the L.A. Rams.
I think they need a number one corner. They've been hurt by number one receiver. I go back to that Cardinal game early in the season where they just got lit up like a Christmas tree. It's because you just don't have the guys. You've got players, and trust me, they do a masterful job of drafting. If you look, they've got 6 rookies that are contributing at a high level. And I get one of them's a kicker, but still, he's a rookie.
Mm-hmm.
Benjamin Morrison is the Jared Verse of next year's class where you go, can you believe these idiots let this guy fall to us? That's how I view him.
All right, the 24th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft. Who's got it?
The Green Bay Packers. Josh Simmons, offensive tackle from Ohio State. Another one that's not playing in the college football playoff. PFF, my guys over there absolutely love him. I really like him. I am not as in love as they are. But that's more because, you're coming off the injury. I feel like I should get a little bit of value there. And at 24, I do. They have him at 13 overall. Kid came from San Diego State. He's a West Coast kid, transferred out east to Ohio State. And he put some really good tape out there. I don't know if he plays on the left or the right side, but I would want to try it on the left. I think if you could get the most out of him, he wasn't at Ohio State for that long. So there's a possibility there's a whole other step with him. He's just a freak of nature athletically. And I think you could have a stalwart left tackle over there. You also have Zach Tom that I'm pretty sure can play every position on the offensive line. Well, here's what you need to avoid. Rasheed Walker playing meaningful snaps ever again.
And it's one of the final pieces for a team that has just about everything you could want.
Green Bay's in that great position of you can take practically anything but a weapon.
Mm-hmm.
You have a billion of those, and you're going to figure out a way to sign them. I really look into the trenches. I think that's where they need help. I wouldn't mind another corner, but Josh Simmons being on the board, that team being as good as it is, I can take a shot.
All right, you're in the Sportsocracy, and this is ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400 on a Mock Draft Wednesday. The first mock draft of the Draftmas season continues after this with pick number 25.
This sandwich is not just spicy, it's flavorful. Hi, this is Patayo. And this is Elsa. And a little thing I love about the Chick-fil-A Grilled Spicy Deluxe Sandwich is that spicy kick. Because the spice comes in at just the right moment. Oh, no. A little thing I love is that cilantro lime sauce. It's a fun blend of zesty and bold. That's what really makes me happy. Are you going to eat all your fries?
Order a Chick-fil-A Grilled Spicy Deluxe Sandwich and a Diet Dr. Pepper on the Chick-fil-A app for a limited time. Real guests paid for their testimonials.
Jeff Dunham, artificial intelligence, his all-new tour.
Just don't have. You're the other white meat.
Papa J, how can you be so smart on one hand and so stupid on the other? Well, you're half of it. I realize I could have avoided all this years ago with one simple word. I do not. Silence!
Don't miss him, Asheville. February 5th, Harris Cherokee Center. Tickets on sale now only at jeffdunham.com.
This is the story of the one who, as a maintenance specialist for a historic high-rise, knows that vintage charm historically needs constant attention. Which is why, when it's time to upgrade turn-of-the-century mechanicals, they turn to Grainger. With easy access to 1 million-plus products and the scale to deliver when and where you need them, the right tools and supplies are never far away. So the one can keep that vintage building running like new. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
If you or a loved one have been a victim of crime,
The North Carolina Department of Public Safety Office of Victim Compensation Services provides programs to help you find peace of mind. We're here to help you apply for benefits that you may qualify for to recover from hardships such as lost wages and medical expenses. To learn more, visit ncdps.gov/4victims. That's ncdps.gov/4victims.
This is J.W. Whitley, General Manager at Parks Ford of Hendersonville. I would like to introduce you to some of our very own Parks Community heroes. Like Trent and Doug, whose first instinct was to fill their trucks with supplies and drive to the areas that were hardest hit in those first hours. Like Spencer, who helped build a bridge out of debris to rescue 7 families after the road was washed away. Nominate your Parks Community Hero today at parkscommunityheroes.com. That's parkscommunityheroes.com. Experience the Parks Promise today at parksfordhendersonville.com.
Mountain Graphics and Showtime Sports have teamed up under a new local owner to serve our community with the finest custom apparel and unique branded items at the best price. Mountain Graphics and Showtime Sports can customize whatever you, your team, or your local group may need with high-quality screen printing, embroidery, and laser engraving. Visit mtngraphicsavl.com or showtimesportsavl.com. That's mtngraphicsavl.com or showtimesportsavl.com for your local one-stop custom apparel shops.
It's time to discover the convenience and time savings of contact-free pickup with Ingles Curbside. Just visit shop.ingles-markets.com or download the app. And your Ingles personal shopper gets to work with specialized training on how to select the freshest items for a pre-scheduled pickup. They'll even text you with updates. You pull up to a designated space and your personal shopper delivers your items right to your vehicle. Fresh, fast, and affordable. It's all in the bag. Ingles. Low prices. Love the savings.
The Sportsocracy.
We treat star athletes better because they're better people.
That's not fair!
Life isn't fair, kiddo. Get used to it.
We are back in the Sportsocracy on ESPN Asheville. It's 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400. We're heard everywhere you go on the iHeartRadio app. Continuing with the first mock draft of the 2025 Draftmas season.
And just to reiterate, this will probably be one of 2 that we do on the live YouTube show because as we announced in the last hour, I will be starting my own independent little draft project next week.
That's right. You want the deep diviest of draft content?
Oh, you have. You have no idea the depths of nerd that I will go to. Tank can tell you.
Oh, yeah.
Who was the kid?
I
can't remember the kid now. I remember Seattle drafted him. I told you his dog's name, and you just looked at me like, what the hell is the matter with you?
Yeah. I do not remember the kid nor the dog, but I'm sure if you heard his name, Jeremy would go, yep, that's that guy.
That's the one.
That's the one.
That's going to drive me nuts.
Yeah. But that was when I looked at him and went, you care way too much about this.
You are not of this world.
I don't even kind of care what his dog's name is.
I don't really care what his dog's name is. It's just a piece of information that I knew, and it came into conversation somehow.
Yes. And that conversation was, hey, look how much I know. That guy's dog's name is Bingo. That was kind of how that was phrased.
Now, I mean, this year, the times are changing. This year, I'll be able to tell you what Travis Hunter's girlfriend's boyfriend's name is. I have resisted the urge to make that joke for way too long. That was points.
Tell me where he gets drafted, and I'll let you know how big his alimony payment's going to end up being.
That was points for me. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, Google it. It ain't hard to find.
All right, let's go to the 25th pick in the 25 draft.
It's cold-blooded. The Los Angeles Chargers. Shamar Stewart, edge rusher, Texas A&M. I think this kid's going to end up being a 3-4 defensive end and going to be a real good one. And if you look at what the Chargers have right now, they're building something pretty special. Because you look at all the pieces and the young guys that they hit last year, that secondary's looking much better than it did.
Mm-hmm.
Now you add a guy that can get that interior pressure when you're lined up in base alignment, that can get I think he can play defensive tackle. He kind of reminds me of, and this is not an example that you would want to, hold a lot of water to because he has not survived well in the NFL. You remember Cameron Thomas was drafted by the Cardinals, wound up with the Chiefs, came out of San Diego State.
Yeah.
Kind of reminds, he's a much better version of that. What positions he play? Yep. Defensive line. Shamar Stewart, defensive lineman, Texas A&M. What do you play, tackle or edge? Yep.
Yes. Yes, I do.
Yes, I do. You know what I do? I see quarterback, get quarterback. Now, that being said, he got there are some rough edges on him, and I think it's because he has been bounced around positions. He's played over the tackle. He's played inside the tackle. He's played in the A-gap. This kid's done a lot. He's done a lot of it pretty well. I would kind of like to see him narrow in a position and not fall victim to what Cameron Thomas did. They tried to use him in a bunch of positions, and he never really latched onto one. He was serviceable at all of them. He was never really good at anything. I don't think you have to worry about that with Shamar Stewart. He's so strong. That kid looks like he could bench press your house, potentially with you in it.
Yeah. Is it Shamar Turner or Shamar Stewart?
Shamar Stewart.
Stewart. Okay. Shamar Stewart is the pick.
I don't know who Shamar Turner is.
Well, he's listed as the same thing on like I'm looking at the Draft Network, and there's a profile of him that says Shamar Turner. And then there's another one that says Shamar Stewart.
Maybe he went into witness protection.
I don't know. I don't know.
Maybe
he got married, changed his name. I don't know. Never know.
I don't know. Maybe he saw Raylan Givens from Justified. He went into WinSack, and now he's Shamar Stewart.
I didn't know if there was a story there. I figured you would know. Mister, I know the name of your dog.
No, look, between, and if you're watching this on YouTube, you can see that I have every school that each of these individual guys went to, because that's a thing I have to tell you now. Wait till we get into the deeper dive. Oh, Red Sea's right. Shamar Turner's a day 3 D tackle.
Okay.
They're not the same guy.
They have the profiles under the same name. Just like
I was like,
I didn't look at it. I just went, why is this guy's got 2 different profiles?
I said it a couple times. It was like that guy you went to high school with, like Dave Smith. Why do I know that name? Why do I know? I know. Oh, I know that. Thank you, Red Sea, for the assist there.
All right, they need to clean up his profile page then.
Hey, look, I will tell you, as a guy that just had to do 32 of these, I threw a Texas Longhorn symbol in an Ole Miss spot. It's easy to screw up.
It is easy to screw up. All
and
right.
I'm only through the first 3 rounds, so God only knows what I'm going to do when we start getting into Ouachita Baptist.
Right. Let's get to
I might just put a smiley face or a picture of Nick Bakay in there. Like, hey, it's the guy that played the cat in Sabrina the Teenage Witch. We need bingo cards. It's like my 4th really off-the-wall reference.
Mm-hmm.
I talked to him the other day. That's the reason his name is.
At number 26.
Now I just want to make random references for the rest of the day. The Washington Commanders. Emeka Egbuka, wide receiver, Ohio State.
Well, I mean, that took long enough.
Explain.
Emeka Egbuka? I thought he was a higher prospect than the late 20s.
Not for me.
Okay.
He's never been higher than that for me. Because I always run into one very simple problem. And now I'm not going to tell you that this hasn't burned me before because Justin Jefferson's a really good example of it. I struggle with guys that have never been the best receiver on their own team.
Okay.
And he never has been. Not in 4 years, or 3 years, he's never been the best receiver on that team.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like that because it hides things. I've seen way too many guys over there. There's way too many RJ Sowards out there where, hey, I had this guy on the other side that made me look like a superstar. Yeah, because you never saw the best corner on a team ever. Can that burn you? Sure it can. And I'm not saying the kid doesn't deserve to be in the first round.
Mm-hmm.
I see people put him in the top 15 and immediately go, are you on drugs? because that does not make a whole lot of sense.
Well, it's just having a lot of faith, I guess, in a guy that never got the attention maybe that you would want a college number one to have.
It is rare that guys step into that position. Here's where my issue comes in with that. And give me 15 seconds to run down the rabbit hole here.
Yeah.
It is hard for me to expect a guy that's never seen number one coverage in college to come into the NFL and be able to deal with number one coverage in the NFL. Now, where a spot like Washington works out is you're still not going to see number one coverage because you have the other Ohio State guy on the other side that's going to keep that far away from you because Terry McLaurin's a dog. I think they have a handful of threes. Luke McCaffrey may be a 3 in time. De'Ami Brown, I think, can be a rotating piece that can hit you over the top. Olamide Zaccheaus, and I don't see a 2 there.
Mm-hmm.
I need a 2. Emeka Egbuka's a 2. And that's where I'm at. I struggle taking number 2 receivers in the first round. This is kind of a different scenario in that if I'm Washington, I'm spending my dollars on the defense. I'm too good right now to be trying to bring along defensive prospects and growing with them. I want to shore up the defense to make it as talented as it is spunky. Because right now their defense is spunky, but they give up a lot of points at times against good teams. I want more Marshawn Lattimore's, where I bring in the vet that I know, Frankie Louvu, where I bring in the vet I know what they are.
Mm-hmm.
I want to do that in free agency. I'm going to pad this offense so that the offense can grow with Jaden Daniels. And I've still got an extra year of Egbuka before I have to pay Jaden Daniels. That's how I would build this team. I'm not the one building it, but that would be my strategy. Because then Egbuka and McLaurin and the young pieces on this team can grow with the quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
And I can just shore up the defense with guys that Dan Quinn's either had in the past or has coached against in the past and knows fit his scheme.
Well, maybe that's what Adam's going to do. He's a smart guy. And
yes, he is.
I do love Adam Peters. So maybe that is the way that he goes. Washington Commanders coming in at number 26.
We have a super chat from Red Sea.
Here comes the money.
Here we go. Money talk.
Here comes the money.
So this is not draft related, but Jeremy, what are your thoughts on Jamie Sherwood? Arizona's poised to lose their starting middle linebacker. We need a replacement. Any insight? Stay away from Jamie Sherwood. That's my insight. He's going to be a Jet and a good one.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they let him hit the market unless it's Rex Ryan and then he doesn't really fit that. In which case, I don't like him in a 3-4. I want him to play in a 4-3 almost exclusively. So I wouldn't love him in Arizona. There are guys that will do that, and that gets into a more deep-divey off-season side, which you will be able to find on my new podcast. And you can ask those questions anytime you want to, and I'll go as deep-divey as you want to. I should just call it Sports Nerd School.
That's not bad.
Of holy crap, we're going deep-divey on a punter. That dude needs a life. Bad.
We got 6 picks left in the first mock draft of the Draftmas season. You can follow him on the social medias at ESPN Draft Nerd. We'll be right back.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Adjacent counties, winter storm watches. I'd imagine we'll get into some of that in the coming hours as we go through this afternoon. Continue to see sunshine and some clouds around. Chilly day today with a gusty breeze at times. Barely above freezing. Low to mid-teens tonight, near freezing tomorrow. Then we'll get snow later Friday into Friday night. Accumulating snowfall, maybe 3 to 6 inches. From the Weather Channel, meteorologist Ray Stajic.
This report is sponsored by Rapid Radios.
Rapid Radios are instant push-to-talk walkie-talkies offering national LTE coverage and no subscription ever. Business owners can now keep in touch with up to 200 staff members at one time. Go to rapidradios.com now for up to 60% off and free shipping.
The music we listen to all year long. The anthems that were our soundtrack for 2024.
They not like us.
And the stars who made the songs we love. will all be celebrated.
Let's get it started.
March 17, live from Los Angeles. Coming back to Fox.
Be here as our 2025 iHeartRadio Music Awards nominees are announced tomorrow at 9 a.m.
When it comes to making fantasy picks on your favorite players, you want excitement, but you also want a platform you can trust. Better Picks is available in over 30 states, so if you're hearing this, it's probably available for you.
Better Picks is safe, secure, and super easy to use. Just pick more or less on your favorite player stats and put your skills to the test.
With Better Picks, you get the thrill of playing for up to 1,000 times your cash. So go ahead, make your picks and play for big wins with super fast payouts and withdrawals.
Go to betterpicks.com, BETRpicks.com, or download Better on the app or Play Store and use promo code RADIO to play for up to 1,000 times your cash. Plus, new users get up to a $200 match on their first deposit and join thousands playing across the U.S.
Must be 21 or older and in a jurisdiction where Better Picks operates. Terms and conditions apply. Concerned with your play? Call the NCPG at 1-800-522-4700.
We're getting our praise on every Sunday morning from 6 to 10 a.m. The best artists in gospel music are right here on Throwbacks 101.1. Presented by Ingles Markets. Low prices, love the savings.
If you're looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate in the mountains, you need to call the agents at Clarissa Sells WNC, brokered by eXp Realty. Check us out online at clarissasellswnc.com. And did I mention that Clarissa Sells WNC loves teachers? We love teachers so much, we're giving back 25% of our commission at closing. For more information, contact us today at 828-774-6343 or clarissasellswnc@gmail.com.
When you get tired of freezing your can at the tailgate, maybe it's time to ring in a new season. Tailgating season. Wherever you are, whatever the forecast, with good old ale, it's the perfect way to kick off game day. From Red Cup Revelry to just kicking it solo, you can't go wrong with Dale's Pale Ale, Dale's Light Lager, and Dale's Easy IPA. Honest ingredients, no BS. Drink responsibly, and we'll see you at the Tailgate.
The Sportsocracy.
These guys are a f***ing disgrace.
Welcome back into the Sportsocracy live in the Ingles studio on ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400. We got 6 picks remaining in the first mock draft of the Draftmas season. And we're at number 27.
Gotta click the button. This time I had one job. The Baltimore Ravens. I can't say this guy's name nearly as well as he can. Ariante Urshary, offensive tackle, Minnesota.
That was pretty good. Urshary.
I have no doubt. I did it a bunch of times last night. I do love that teams have now gone, you guys butcher all of our players' names, so we're going to put it on the website. We're going to ask them, how do you pronounce your name? And we're going to put it on their profile on our website. And his is really funny. He's a gigantic human being.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is the long-term left tackle. In the comments, Mark Phillips said, Baltimore needs offensive line help. Stephen Tao said, best player available. Don't you love when a plan comes together and both of those things can happen at one time? Because that's exactly what you got right here. I love this dude. And they're pretty familiar with gigantic Minnesota offensive linemen, considering they're the ones that drafted Daniel Faalele. He is Daniel Faalele if Daniel Faalele was gooder.
And a little shorter.
He's more graceful at his feet. He is a little shorter. He's listed at 6'6". I actually think that's short.
Yeah. I mean, Daniel Faalele is 6'9". Yeah.
6'8", weighs like 474 pounds.
Right.
Ariante Urshary he'll be at the Senior Bowl. That's a guy I've already put in a, hey, we need to chat while we're down there together, buddy, because I'd like to get to know you just a bit. He's a funny guy. That's one of the cool things about really, over the last 3 weeks, I've really recommitted myself to the draft, as I said the last hour. I've gotten to know things about these guys, so I'm going in with a much better depth of knowledge than I went in last year, so I'm not going to get a Xavier Leggett that opens his mouth and I go, what in the world did you just do? I know more about these guys, and so he's one that I really want to whatever he will contribute, I'm more than happy because he's a funny guy.
Yeah.
Just super talented. He is a little raw, but he has the natural ability to be a special player in this league. And he's going to fall to a team like Baltimore that can wait it out. And I don't need you to be great right now. I need you to be great 2 years from now.
But what I do get is a little bit of depth on that offensive line until you develop.
He's so good. His good tape is incredible. We have a super chat in the YouTube comments.
Here comes the money.
Here we go. Money talk.
Here comes the money.
It's from Sir Jimothy, and it's a good one. Draft season discussion topic. Tell 6 you missed on. Each tell 6. You missed on 3 better than you thought, and 3 you overrated. Better than that I missed on. Justin Jefferson would be the most obvious.
That'd be a big one.
And you go back and listen to it. I didn't say Justin Jefferson should be working at Home Depot. I just didn't like him as much as Tank did.
Yeah.
And it was the same thing I said about Emeka Egbuka. He's one that's better than I thought.
Mm-hmm. This feels like a daily draft topic that we should do tomorrow.
Yeah, we can do that.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, we can do that. Yeah, it sounds that. I love it when plan comes together.
Give us some time to think on it, because my brain doesn't work that way. I can't recall things like Jeremy can. And we still have 5 more picks that we need to get to before the end of the hour.
And that gives me a night to go back through my notes and the Excel spreadsheets where I have numeric grades on every player that's come into the draft in the last 14 years, and I can go back and go, whoo, that was too high. That was way too Mike Williams, Detroit Lion wide receiver Mike Williams. That's almost invariably going to be one of mine. Good God, I thought he was going to be so good. He was not. He was no that good.
At number 28 in the 2025 NFL Draft, that's where we find
the Minnesota Vikings. O'Marion Hampton, running back out of North Carolina.
Whoa. Now we're talking.
I had a feeling you would like that one.
Yes, I do. Because, O'Marion Hampton is a dog, has been a dog for a couple of years. I mean, playing for the Tar Heels. And him as the heir apparent to whatever is going to happen to Aaron Jones.
I think you have another year of Aaron Jones. You can have them together for a year. O'Marion Hampton is so close in terms of grade for me with Ashton Genty. The only difference is he did not have the opportunity to go through a Boise State schedule. He did not get his team to the college football playoff. He did not finish second in Heisman voting. But in terms of look at what the good of Javonte Williams has been. And he's better than that.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing he can't do. I think he can come into this league and be a top 12 running back immediately. And I think in the right situation, which Minnesota with Sam Darnold, by the way, highest completion percentage in the league on play action throws. Do you know who that is?
Who?
Sam Darnold. By 6%.
Wow.
Sam's really good in play action, and that's with a run game that's been hit or miss.
Mm-hmm.
There's been way too much Cam Akers. I saw this early in the process, which we are still early in the process, but I saw it weeks ago, and, yeah, that's where I'm going with that.
All right, at number 29.
The Buffalo Bills. I don't love linebackers in the first round, but I'm going to make an exception for this guy. Jahad Campbell, linebacker out of Alabama.
What makes him different?
I think he's more than just a linebacker. I think he can fill that Matt Milano role because, look, I like a couple of the young guys that Buffalo has. The way they play defense, They're stacked on the defensive line right now. I don't love what they've gotten back behind that. It's not that I don't love the player. I just think you need one that ties it all together. I would love to give you a corner. The problem is that there's really not one that fits what Buffalo does exactly. I would rather wait until down the line because there's a couple guys that I think they're going to fall that I would like better. To me, Jahad Campbell is just he kind of reminds me of Matt Milano, of the guy that can tie your defense together. Is he ever going to be the best player on the field? No. But are you going to damn sure know when he's not out there? Also, yes. Yes, you will. I don't love taking off-ball linebackers in the first round, especially not in that system. But I think you can get the best out of the other two linebackers that they have by doing that.
If it's the piece that ties everything together, I don't care really what round I have to draft him in. If he's the missing piece, he's the missing piece.
Well, I mean, and you got to look at what you already have there. I mean, you've got a handful of really good young defensive line pieces. The offense, I don't have to. I don't have to. I'm making Mac Hollins work. It's fine. But I think you will get more out of Dorian Williams and more out of Terrell Bernard. That was the name that, for some reason, I could not get that name to come out of my mouth. You have those three linebackers together. Now I think you have one of the best young linebacker cores in the league. And this has not been as good of a year for TB and for Dorian Williams.
Mm-hmm.
I think they need a Jahad Campbell.
All right. The 2025 NFL draft pick in number 30 could be, of course, all of this depends on the playoff outcomes.
For sure.
But at number 30,
the Philadelphia Eagles. Wherever Bob Brown is, he will absolutely love this pick because it will be a replacement for his most hated Philadelphia Eagle, Tyler Steen. Wyatt Millum from the greatest university in the world, that'd be West Virginia University. Philadelphia might be the hardest team to pick a draft pick for that I've ever seen in my life. What do you get for the team that has a young player everywhere? And I'd love for it to be a quarterback, but, that ship sailed.
Mm-hmm.
Wyatt Millum he's from West Virginia. I actually didn't know that. He was the number one, he's the highest rated recruit from the state of West Virginia in like 17 years.
Wow.
He was a top 100 recruit, went to West Virginia, started 3 years, and was just an absolute dog. What you liked about Cody Mauch?
Yeah.
And now, I believe you've seen with him in Tampa Bay, there's a real good of that.
Yes. There's
also a bad of that.
There is a very bad.
So you got to be able to rein it in. I think in time he would be the Lane Johnson replacement, but you could bring him along slow.
Mm-hmm.
Philadelphia doesn't need much. I mean, yeah, I could give you a fourth receiver, but you did invest draft capital in Jahan Dotson, so I don't think you're going to tap out on that thing quick.
I like to refer to Cody Mauch as toothless aggression because he just
I want to call his agent and sell that.
He just gets a little crazy sometimes, and it's I want to rein you in, keep you in a box.
God, and his last name is a WWE logo upside down.
Yes, it is.
Oh my God, that's the most brilliant thing you've ever said. I want to call his agent right now and go, I'm going to sell you this idea, and you go make a bunch of money off of it.
Yeah, all I want is a jersey. That's all I want. And I want the 69 jersey.
And Wyatt Millum he's kind of in the same boat. He's a little more controlled than Mauch, but he's a downhill guy. He will really help in the run game. Some people think he will be a guard. I don't see that. I think he's long enough and he keeps things out of his body to the point that I think you can put him on the outside. But in Philadelphia, you don't have to rush. You want to know why the Baltimore, and I've said this before, but I have to say it in every one of these mock drafts. You know why the Baltimores and the Philadelphias and the Kansas Cities and the Buffaloes and now the Detroits, you want to know why they stay good for so long? Because they can sit at the end of the draft in the first round and go, how'd you let this guy fall to me? Like, how did 30 of you not at some point go, You know who we should take? That big corn-fed West Virginia feller that just rips people's souls out of their bodies. I mean, I'm sure one of you could have used him. No, you're taking Shedeur Sanders.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. You do what you do.
Number 31 will belong to the loser of the Super Bowl.
In my scenario, it was the Kansas City Chiefs.
And the Kansas City Chiefs.
You would think after 30 times it wouldn't catch you.
You just get too tired. You're just done. Let's go.
Mike Green, edge rusher out of Marshall. Kansas City loves doing this. Find the guy that has a situational role and add him at the end of the first round where I get the fifth-year option. Mike Green is probably, of all the players that I'm going to see in Mobile, he may be the one that I'm the most excited to see. He was a pretty big-time recruit. He went to Virginia. He was there, I think, 2 years. May have only been one. Didn't really do a lot. Transferred to Marshall, and then had 17 sacks this year at Marshall. He had 23 tackles for loss.
Is that not a concern for you, though, when a guy goes from a big school where he can't play, going to a smaller school against lesser competition, and then having that year?
No, because he was only there as a freshman. And he was there with Bronco Mendenhall, who does not tend to play freshmen a lot.
Okay.
So it can bother me. It just depends on the situation. Him, it hasn't really mattered the level of competition he's gone up against. He may be the best pass rusher in this class. The only problem is that's really all he can do. But I look at Kansas City and go, he's got the body frame to be good enough against the run that you could make him that guy. You're just going to put the time in. And you've also got Karlaftis and Felix Anudike-Uzomah. You've done this with enough guys that he just really fits that Kansas City mold. And getting here to 31, it makes a lot of sense. Now, if they were to lose one of those offensive linemen, I would unwind that and probably go Tyler Booker, the kid out of Alabama. I don't necessarily think that's going to happen. Kansas City does a good job of losing ancillary pieces, not foundation pieces.
Mm-hmm.
And the foundation of the Kansas City Chiefs, yes, Pat Mahomes and Andy Reid are on the top of that pillar. The offensive line's probably the second tier of that. I don't really think they're going to let the Trey Smiths of the world get out of the building.
No, not a chance. And that'll bring us to the final pick of the first round of the 2025 NFL Draft.
The Detroit Lions.
Projected Super Bowl champion Detroit Lions. How will they add to their recent draft hauls?
He's officially gone full pregnant pause of I keep forgetting to do it every single time. Landon Jackson, edge rusher out of Arkansas. If there's ever been a kid in the history of kids that was a Dan Campbell guy more than Landon Jackson, I'm not sure who it is. So Landon Jackson has alopecia, the same thing that Josh Dobbs has, where he has literally no hair on his head.
Yep.
He is one of the most on-brand. You see this bald guy that tapes his hands up like he's Freddy Krueger and just absolutely ruins people's souls. I watched him last year in Arkansas and went, if that kid doesn't end up with the Detroit Lions, I'm not as good at this as I think I am. Then I started looking at mock drafts because this is the week that everybody does a mock draft.
Yes.
Every draft guy does one this week. Also the reason that we did one today. Not that I needed a fifth reason, but name's on the door. I'll do whatever I want to. But that's why we chose to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Then I started seeing everybody else's, and I kept seeing his name at 32 going, no. That was mine. I saw that kid. And, you all thought the same thing. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because it makes sense. And you put him on the other end of Aiden Hutchinson, and I wish you the best of luck in stopping what they're going to build defensively.
Mm-hmm. All right, there you go. Landon Jackson, edge rusher out of Arkansas to the Detroit Lions at number 32.
He's such a good edge rusher.
All right, the first mock draft of the Draftmas season is in the books here in the Sportsocracy on ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM and 1400. More, if you want more in-depth coverage of the NFL draft, just recap the announcement from earlier in the show. Flowstradamus is branching out, starting his own draft-centric podcast.
Yes, so I bought NFLDraft.net several years ago, and I haven't really had the time to allocate to it that I wanted to. So that will be the website of this venture. Right now, if you go to it, it'll go to thesportsocracy.com because I bridged them together and just kind of parked it there and went, hey, I'll deal with that when I get a minute. Well, then I didn't get a minute. And over time, last year we were at the draft, and Tank, you did it with me. I don't think anybody would look at me and go, he wasn't as prepared as he could have been, because I was still doing what I wasn't as prepared as I wanted to be. And I didn't focus on the draft as much as I wanted to because I'm a draft guy. And so now this is my little pet project. We have Michaela, who's doing a wonderful job with our social medias. By the way, we've already had more impressions in the year of 2025 than we did in the year of 2024. It's the 8th. You want to know what a social media person will do? That. When they tell you what they cost, you just go, okay, and pay it. It's worth it. So we'll be doing a Patreon-based podcast. There will be a lot of tiers to this. It'll have its own YouTube page. It'll have its own social media. It'll have all those things. And that's going to come out in the next coming days. This is actually my last day in the studio this week. My wife's getting ready to start a new job. I will still be doing the show. I'll just be doing it from the house. I got to get her office ready because we're turning our 3-bedroom, 2-bath house into 2 gigantic offices with 1 full podcast studio in the course of 4 days.
Awesome.
Which it's going to be a fun 4 days, and it's going to snow in the middle of it. Can't wait.
Yeah.
But I'm really looking forward to it. It's kind of reinvigorated me. It's Tank's so busy out doing much bigger things than sports with the politics, and now basically running the building that we're in.
Yeah.
He doesn't have time, and it's not fair of me to ask him to take time away from the things that are just paying him exponentially more than I can. So it's not a division of labor or anything like that. We don't want anybody to think that it's this is leading to an ultimate breakup.
Yeah.
No, this is my passion project that he's been kind enough to help me build to where it is now, and now it's my turn to take it and run with it and allow him to be a special guest in these things.
Indeed. So look forward to that. More announcements coming out on all the social medias. Follow us on all of the platforms at The Sportsocracy. We'll be back with you tomorrow right here on ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM and 1400 at noon.
Oh, could this vintage store be any cuter?
Right? And the best part? They accept Discover.
Accept Discover? In a little place like this? I don't think so, Jennifer.
Oh, yeah, huh? Discover's accepted where I like to shop. Come on, baby, get with the times.
Right, so we shouldn't get the parachute pants?
These are making a comeback. I think.
Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide. Based on the February 2024 Nielsen report.
Playoffs? We're talking about playoffs? You bet we are. Kevin Hart here for DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL playoffs. Scoring touchdowns is key to winning in the playoffs, and you can score big by betting on them at DraftKings, the #1 place to bet touchdowns. Ready to place your first bet? Try betting on something simple like a player to score 6. Go to DraftKings Sportsbook app and make your pick. New DraftKings customers can bet $5 to get $200 in bonus bets instantly.
Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code WPEK. That's code WPEK for new customers to get $200 in bonus bets instantly when you bet just $5.
Only on DraftKings Sportsbook. The crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov. 21 plus, North Carolina only. Eligibility restrictions apply. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/audio.
Did you apply for FEMA help after the tropical storm Helene and want to know the status of your application or how to appeal an eligibility decision? It's easy to reach FEMA. Call 800-621-FEMA. Does FEMA have your current contact information? If you are not sure, call 800-621-3362 because FEMA may need more information to help you. For in-person help, you can find the Disaster Recovery Center near you at fema.gov/DRC.
If you're looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate in the mountains, you need to call the agents at Clarissa Sells WNC, brokered by eXp Realty. Check us out online at clarissasellswnc.com. Download our free app on Google Play or the App Store. Type in Asheville Home Search. You'll be able to connect with our team and see all the available homes for sale in our area. For more information, contact us today at 828-774-6343 or clarissasellswnc@gmail.com.
Welcome to the Ingalls Table, a delicious destination with recipes galore. Need to whip up a dessert, entree, side dish? No problem. The experts from the Ingalls Table take you through it step by step with expert tips and advice along the way. Find the Ingalls Table at ingalls-markets.com or swing by the store and pick up your free copy of the Ingalls Table magazine. And let's get cooking. Ingalls, low prices, love the savings.
This is J.W. Whitley, General Manager at Parks Ford of Hendersonville. I would like to introduce you to some of our very own Parks community heroes, like Eric, who hosted the football team to support their neighbors and begin the cleanup efforts, like Jeff and Chris, who led a fleet of Ford commercial vehicles throughout the night, delivering supplies with emergency services to all corners of the county and first responders. Nominate your community hero at parkscommunityheroes.com. That's parkscommunityheroes.com. Experience the Parks Promise today at parksfordhendersonville.com.
In 2024, what we paying
more for things
was a lot.
That will change.
In 2025, let's pay
what they're supposed to be paying.
Attention.
A lot of things can happen.
A busy news year on 570 WWNC.